25 minutes. You're playing against Argentina. And you've just gone, here, there you go. Just attackers. Attack v defence.
Do you know what, Jay? I can't believe I'm having this conversation about Tuchel. I cannot believe I'm having this conversation.
Sack him.
It's just rinse and repeat as England. And I don't know whether he looked back on that Mexico game and got drawn into how comfortable he felt. No, Jay, I'm not giving you an answer. I'm trying to find a reason. I'm trying to get into his head. I don't know the answer, Jay.
But
any more than you. Don't, Jay. I'm trying to find a reason.
But why put Bellingham on the left?
Jay, I don't know.
Why not bring Rashford on?
I don't know.
Why not bring Saka on?
I don't know.
What was he thinking?
I don't know.
What's he thinking?
I'm trying to get into Tuchel's head because the lads were dead on their feet. And if you're going to go to 5 at the back, which I kind of understand in one way, I do. But what you need to do is help the back 5 because if they can't get out, you literally are on the edge of your box and you can't defend all the time like that. You need pressure on the ball. You need players to get out. And also, you need an out ball. We had no out ball. Nothing. But I can't believe you said
that's coaching 101. That's literally coaching. We are sat there, 2 donuts, all right, in the Redwood. 2 people that sit on here, all right? We ain't coaches. We know football. He's the top level England manager. And the whole nation can see that we were camped in, and everyone's screaming, "Make a sub, give us an out."
I don't get it, Jay. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand how he couldn't see what we were seeing.
Few people win the World Cup as a player. Very few people win the World Cup as a manager. Only 3 men in history have done both. One of them is Didier Deschamps. I mean, what a team. For our younger viewers, that's Zidane, Desailly, Leboeuf, Thuram. I could go on. And in 1998, those legends were captained by Didier Deschamps. Before that tournament, Deschamps had been winning league titles and Champions Leagues with Marseille and Juventus and had led Les Bleus since 1996. They hadn't even qualified for the World Cups in 1990 and 94, but Deschamps had spearheaded the Renaissance. It culminated in that final against Brazil. The 30-year-old playing at the base of midfield was keen to get stuck in. Fais-lui savoir que tu es là, French for let him know you're there, according to Google Translate. Zidane and Petit got the glory, but Deschamps controlled the game before lifting the trophy into the Parisian night sky. After winning the Euros 2 years later, he hung up his boots and jumped into management. He had spells in club football before, in 2012, being put in charge of his nation. France scraped into the 2014 World Cup via the playoffs and were pretty pleased about it. Even a quarter-final defeat couldn't dampen the optimism. The tables, French fans believed, were starting to turn. They were runners-up to Portugal in their own Euros, but that silver medal around the manager's neck was about to change colour. In 2018, World Cup magic. France handed an almighty beatdown to Croatia and Deschamps got his hands on this for a second time. It meant that he joined Brazil's Mario Zagallo and Germany's Franz Beckenbauer as the only men to have won the World Cup as a player and manager. France's victory even turned their president, Emmanuel Macron, into a meme. He still made me laugh, honestly. Deschamps went close to defending the title in 2022, but some guy called Lionel Messi had his own storyline to complete. Deschamps captained legends, he managed legends, and his World Cup achievements are legendary. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give this guy his flowers.
Yeah, you are listening to the World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT. I'm your host, Jamie O'Hara. Alongside me, Thomas Tuchel's biggest fan, Rory Jennings. It's been 3 days since England crashed out of the World Cup. The anger is still there. One more game, though, tonight. The bronze final against France. Are you buzzing at the prospects of a World Cup bronze medal? Well, here's the big question to really angry ones out there. Would you take an embarrassing defeat to get Thomas Tuchel out the door? 03 717 22 3344. We're also going to discuss whether Thomas Tuchel is actually is he a good manager? Maybe not. Remember, talkSPORT brings you live commentary of France v England at 10 p.m. tonight, as well, of course, the World Cup final tomorrow at 8. You know what to do. Pick up the phone, share your views. 03 717 22 3344. World Cup Day live on talkSPORT. Hello. We're playing this because me and you have gone viral in America. We've cracked the code.
Yeah, I've seen this, and I tell you what, Jay, under normal circumstances, this would be good news, wouldn't it? Under normal circumstances, this would be quite exciting, almost enthralling, and I think that I'd want to talk about it. I actually don't want to talk about it. It's given me an existential crisis. I cannot believe what's happened. You and I were having a conversation. It was viewed by this American chap, and he positioned you as the sane, rational voice. I mean, like, wait, what? He's called me the one that's like a little bit out there.
Yeah, the wind-up.
Yeah, and you were the adult in the room, I think he said.
Yeah.
I was like, hang on a minute.
And then
it's been a bad week for me already.
Fall apart.
Yeah.
And then he saw me crash out.
Yeah, then he
was like, hold on a minute, I've got to get these guys on.
Yeah, it was a terrible moment. It was a terrible moment for me because if there's one thing I feel like I am, it's level-headed. No, you can't look at me like that.
I don't know. If I was going to look at Rory Jennings, I wouldn't say level-headed would have been my first.
Well, look, if I'm in the room with you,
small would have.
Yeah, it's definitely small. Yeah. Look, if I'm in a room with you, I feel like I'm the level-headed one. And this American geezer was like, no, Jamie is clearly the rational adult in the room. It's like, wait, I've already had a bad week here. I've watched my country, led by a German bloke, press a self-destruct button on all of our dreams. It has not been good. Now this.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go. But no, it's a great clip.
No, it's a good clip.
You spoke to him?
Yeah, I spoke to him. We got him on with Cundy, and he was obviously talking about you. And yeah, no, it was good fun, man. I obviously, like in America, NFL and everything, they're big hitters, right? I spoke to a guy called Colin Howarth as well, who's huge he's on Fox Sports. And they couldn't believe the outcry of how we actually reacted to England. I don't think they thought that we were like that.
Yeah, meltdown.
Yeah, like meltdown central.
Meltdown. No, I saw you in an England goalkeeper kit that I think was like perhaps worn by Ian Walker. I don't know. I saw you.
David Seaman.
Was it David Seaman kit?
Yeah, Seaman on. I had Seaman on the back.
Oh, did it? I saw you in that. Yeah, losing your rag. But then I don't know if this says more about me than it should. But I agreed with you every single word.
Yeah.
I agreed with it. I thought the rant, if you want to call it a rant, although it was a rant, it was methodical, it was logical, it was poignant, it was accurate. Yeah, your head had gone. But what you were delivering was exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I think that you were right. Everything that we saw in that game from Thomas Tuchel was disgusting.
How are you feeling now? Like, have you moved on from it?
No, I haven't. And I won't. And I won't. I'll tell you why, because I'm a man of principle. I'll tell you where this country is letting itself down. Far too many people don't know how to hold a grudge anymore. I will never forgive Thomas Tuchel for what he did, ever. What he confined us to there was one of the worst periods I've ever seen. We're winning a game with 5 minutes to go, and we didn't even take it to extra time. We got beat in 90 minutes. We're winning with 5 minutes to go. And I'm a man of honour and principle, and I will never forgive and I will never forget what Thomas Tuchel did. He should be out of a job. I'm hoping that they're just persevering with him to get this ridiculous fixture that we're going to play tonight out of the way, and then he'll be gone.
Do you want him to get pumped tonight?
No, I can never want England to lose, but I heard you say in the opener, I thought it was an interesting phrasing you chose. I never want England to get beat. Certainly not by the French. But if it meant he left, I think I can make my peace with the defeat. If it meant that he definitely left. Because what I don't want him to be able to do, this game means nothing, is if England somehow win it, he will try and position it as England's best finish in 60 years, which it would be.
Yeah.
But it's all smoke and mirrors. That doesn't tell the full story of what happened in this World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, look, what annoyed me was I've been waiting for the press conference of Thomas Tuchel for days, right? And we got it yesterday, I think it was last night it came out. And I wanted to throw my shoe at the telly.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, when I was listening to the guff that he was coming out with and the excuses that he was coming out and the lies that he was telling us, right? And Thomas Tuchel's been pretty honest in his assessment of games throughout the World Cup until Argentina, until he got it wrong. And the lies that he's come out with saying that he has no regrets and he doesn't think he got it wrong, and you know the way that the game was going and the decisions that he made, and talking about the England DNA and all this absolute crap that he's come out with. I honestly wanted to punch my telly. I wanted to punch the telly.
And you're right.
And I couldn't believe he was coming out with it.
No.
How can you sit there and lie to us?
Yeah.
Tell us the truth.
Yeah,
You messed up.
Yeah.
You had a rick. You're a rabbit in the headlights. You got it all wrong. You should never. I'll never make that decision again. I'm sorry, nation. And I'll put it right. If you keep me and you stay on board, we've got the Euros and the World Cup, and I will win us a tournament.
It's because he's a coward. He's a coward, and he won't admit that he got it wrong. And the reason that he can't admit that he got it wrong is because if he does say those words, it legitimises the sacking. He doesn't want to get sacked because he's overly paid. He's paid for over £5 million a year. So he's trying to hold on to his job, effectively because he's a mercenary. But I completely agree with you. Everything that he said, he's twisted himself up in knots. And that's why I can't understand why anybody's being forgiving to him. You heard him say how our players were knackered. Okay, they were knackered, right? And you knew they were going to be knackered. But you've set up a team built on physicality, built on pace, built on running the channels in the hottest climate that we're ever going to play a World Cup in. So you've set up a team. You know that they're knackered. You've picked injured players. You know that they're knackered. You haven't rotated. So now you're going, oh, God, it was just a shame we were knackered. Yeah, we were knackered because you didn't rotate, because you took players to a tournament that you didn't play at all, because you had Kobe Mainoo sitting on the bench. Then you lambast our ability at ball retention. You start comparing us to Brazil and Argentina in terms of ball retention. And you're like, hang on a minute. Firstly, it's very disingenuous to say that we couldn't look after the ball as well as the Brazilians when we clearly could. We have a midfield that's worth well over 300 million quid. We have Harry Kane up front. We can look after the ball if that was the instruction. It wasn't the instruction. The other thing, though, in terms of ball retention, you also built a team, players like Jed Spence, who did brilliantly this World Cup, but his attribute isn't ball retention.
No.
Trent Alexander-Arnold, excellent ball retention. Excellent, wants the ball at his feet. Excellent. Phil Foden loves the ball at his feet. Cole Palmer, happy with the ball at his feet. Kobe Mainoo loves the ball at his feet. So you've built a team and picked a team around players that are built on physicality and their main attributes are not ball retention. And then you go, yeah, it's a shame we can't look after the ball that well, isn't it? Hypocrite, fraud. And the second that he's out of this job, I will celebrate. I will rejoice. I will get a bottle of red wine. I will pop it on this. Seriously, if he goes, if somehow the joyous news breaks, the champagne is being opened, I think he's a disgrace. And not only do I want him to go, Bullingham, anyone associated with the appointment of Thomas Tuchel, it's failed. If you fail at your job, you lose your job. If you
Is
are
it failure?
Semi-final? It is abject failure. Don't reposition the goalpost, Jay. It is abject failure. What he's done there is abject failure. And anybody trying to say, oh, England get into a semi-final is impressive. No. We sold our morals down the river. We appointed a German to lead England and we suspended our principle. The reason that we did it is because he was the man to come in, the elite level coach, the elite level mentality, the man to take it on from what Gareth Southgate could do. He could only draw par with a Gareth Southgate team. So all the good work that Southgate did that you could build on now, 8 years later, he could only do the same as what Southgate did 8 years ago with Dele Alli and Jesse Lingard in central midfield. He only could do as well as that. So no, it is absolute failure. He was brought in. Jason Cundy makes his point. He makes it really well. Obviously, you would have heard it on your show. But he says Tuchel got the job for 2 games. The reason that he was appointed was for 2 games and 2 games only. It wasn't to get us to a tournament. We always get there.
Yeah.
It wasn't even to get through the groups. That's not a problem anymore. It was for 2 games. Semi-final, how do you do it? I would go, it's even shorter than that. It was to manage the final 30 minutes against Argentina in that circumstance. Yeah. Get us through that. And he's failed.
Yeah.
So why would you persevere? We've made this mistake. Oh, God, I just suddenly remembered. Do you know what we've done? And we're about to do it again. We're about to relive our own downfall twice. We made this mistake I was there. I went to Brazil in 2014, and it was a new low for English football. I flew to Brazil for 3 weeks. I've gone for 3 weeks. It was a new low for English football.
Did we go out in a group?
Worse. It was a new low for English football. We went out after the 2nd game. We didn't even need to play the 3rd game in the group. I went to a place called Belo Horizonte. We played Costa Rica, and I went anyway. But we were out. It didn't matter. What did we do? Did we sack Roy Hodgson and say you have failed, you are a failure, you are a fraud, get out, you've let your nation down? Did we do that? Or did we preserve our relationship with him and give him another tournament? We gave him another tournament. We gave him 2016. What happened? On a Monday night in Nice, we got launched out of the Euros by Iceland. Learn from your mistakes. When, you know that saying, when somebody shows you they are, believe them, or whatever it is? Tuchel has shown us that he's a fraud. Believe him. Don't give him another tournament.
No?
No! Jeez, no! Do not give him
Even
another...
if we win 4-0 tonight?
Don't care. Win 10-0, I don't care. Like, he's got to go. I genuinely don't care. Okay, let's be less emotional for 1 second, if you can. If you can, Jay, if you can be on my level and not be so emotional for a sec. Over the entire tournament, you tell me then, when's it been good? What's been good for England?
Croatia second half.
Okay, so 45-minute period there.
And then I'd say the Mexico game, 50% of the game, in terms of how we reacted, how we got noses in front, how we dug in. Norway game, I think we got lucky. And maybe half hour of the Argentina game. Okay,
so I could contest some of that, but for the purposes of this argument, I won't. I'll just say that you're right. Even if I'm being really generous, I'll say you're right. Out of the 6 games that we've played there, you're saying at best 90 minutes. Yeah. So that's failure in itself, isn't it? That's failure in itself. We got very lucky against Norway. We drew 0-0 with Ghana. We should have got beat with that Konza foul. The first half against Croatia wasn't particularly inspiring. We kept giving leads away. Panama was fine, but so it should be. Yeah, Congo, we were 20 minutes from going out of the tournament against Congo. Harry Kane's brilliance got us through. Yeah. We were basically a terrible team with 2 world-class players. And one of those world-class players sort of stopped playing. Not his fault. I don't want to make this about Kane, but when we needed Kane, he didn't really show up. We were an average team with 1 world-class player by the end. And Thomas Tuchel has the riches of the Premier League at his disposal. Look at the
If you're saying we're an average team, though, is it not success to get to a...
No, sorry. We're not average personnel. We're elite personnel. Player for player, if you did England versus Argentina, we're a better team. We're a better team than Argentina, aren't we? If you think about our midfield, Alexis McAllister doesn't get in the England midfield. No way. No way. Enzo Fernandez doesn't get in the England midfield. Absolutely not. Christian Romero wouldn't have got in the England team. I mean, whatever you think about Jed Spence, he had the option of picking Trent Alexander-Arnold and chose to not. And then he talks about the lack of ball-playing properties. It's just insane. I cannot understand how anyone can be supportive of this bloke, and I will not rest. I am president, and you can be my co-founder of the anti-Thomas Tuchel Society. I will not rest until this man is out of the role of leading England. It's a disgrace that he was ever put in, but now he has to go.
Right, we've loads to say on that. Give us a call. We are going to obviously talk about England. We're going to do a World Cup 2030 11 as well, in terms of who would start, because it's going to be quite interesting actually to see who potentially comes through, because Harry Kane, we're going to discuss him as well, about what the future holds with him at England. You can have a say. 03 717 22 3344.
We've been talking all morning about Thomas Tuchel. We've been talking all week about him and the fact that he's questioned England's DNA, whatever that may be. He said, I think ball possession plays a crucial role. It's maybe not in our DNA as it is in the Spanish or Brazilian or Argentinian DNA. To take the ball and control the game and the ball, which is a big problem. What do you make of that, Ben?
Watching the Spain game the other night against France, that's how you keep the ball. And I think it comes down to bravery. We've got the players to do it, we've got the ability to do it, but it comes down to bravery. And I think once them England players put that shirt on, when it comes to the crunch moments, That's the bit that is lacking a little bit. We've definitely got the ability to do it. We've got the players to be able to do it. You watch Spain, and when they went 2-0 up, even when they were 1-0 up, they just kept doing it. You've got Fabian Ruiz and Rodri in the central midfield. At one point, they're playing two-touch over the French midfield. They're keeping the ball nice and calm. And I'm just thinking...
They had a good structure as well, though.
Really good structure, but they're drilled on it. And there's a lot of people saying, well, why can't we be drilled on it?
You've got to want the ball as well.
You've got to want it, but it's bravery, isn't it?
It is.
And bravery comes in a load of different forms.
So
People think bravery might be a Dan Burn getting his head, and it is a form of bravery, but when it comes to the crunch moments, it's that calmness under pressure in the big calm moments where you've got to go, right, just woof, woof. And I think Argentina a bit, look at Messi, see how calm he is, and I think that filters through the team as well.
Yeah, he can carry you out of trouble, Messi, can't he? Give him the ball, he carries it up the pitch, he takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
That's what we were lacking as well, just an individual who just could carry it up.
Oh, it'd be lovely if we had one of them, two of them at home, I think.
I think it's a bit unfair because he took Gordon off, and I think Gordon's grown into the tournament, I thought, because he had a lot going on at the beginning, which I spoke of, because with the move and all that sort of stuff, a lot to handle, if you like. But I think he's grown into it.
You are listening to the World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT, brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app. It's moving day at the 154th Open Championship. Let's get an update from Royal Birkdale. talkSPORT's Gabby Partington.
It is moving day, and the leaderboard certainly is moving, but at the minute it is Lucas Herbert who is at the very top all by himself. He had a bit of a slow start but picked up 2 shots just before the turn, so the new mark is 9 under par as it stands. We do have a bit of goss around Birkdale actually. Look, I know the big news that's really stolen the headlines of the championship, the fact that Bryson DeChambeau was handed a 2-stroke penalty, and that all kicked off last night. Bryson is still out on the golf course. He's 5 under for the championship. He's currently level through 13 holes. Rory McIlroy, though, he's in the clubhouse. He's 2 under for the championship. But after his round, he actually spoke with the media. He did a press conference and had a few remarks about Bryson DeChambeau, which aren't so complimentary. The world number 2 said he's not fond of Bryson and is an attention seeker. So beef around Birkdale. You can catch the full story on talksport.com. But back to the golf, shall we? Tommy Fleetwood's given one back on the par 3 15th, his first bogey of the day, so he drops back to 6 under par, now 3 off the lead, alongside Ryder Cup teammate Ludwig Åberg. And you can catch Tommy's last couple of holes all live on talkSPORT 2.
The Open Championship update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan.
Right, let's hear from Thomas Tuchel now. He spoke to the media yesterday ahead of tonight's third-place playoff, doubled down on his belief that keeping the ball isn't English football's DNA.
To put it into context, maybe it's worse to put it into context. We lost the first match, the first official match together. Since 14 matches, it was our first defeat. Like I said, it was a painful one. We played in a semi-final against the reigning world champions. We were 85 minutes 1-0 up. We played against the best player in the world, and we lost 2-1, which is painful. We made our way to the semi-final, well deserved. We are one of the top 4 nations, and we wanted this place in the semi-final, and we wanted more. We are heavily disappointed because we wanted to play in the final. We believed we can do it. We built something to have this genuine belief to can do it. We were dreaming about it. Still, I believe that 3 other nations have almost an expectations to win the title. This is not us. France, Spain, Argentina expect almost, they're on that level that they expect to win. We are not there yet. There is still a gap to close. And this is what we will do. This is what we will do from tomorrow. We will not stop chasing. We will not stop hunting. We will not stop challenging. We have a gap to close, like I said, and we have things to improve in a football matter. And this is the context. So I think it is not in itself not a lot of room for drama. If drama is needed, and if the blame game needs to be played, okay, you can do that, but I have the right to not engage in that.
It's appalling, isn't it? Just listening to that, it's appalling. All that DNA nonsense. The thing that he said there that really annoyed me as well, Jay. Do you hear the bit when he's talking about there is no expectation?
Yeah.
The expectation in different countries is perhaps more severe and more intense, and we don't really have that expectation. Yes, we do. Yes, we do, because of you. We brought you in. You were, in theory, which is actually all smoke and mirrors, but you were supposed to be the elite level manager.
Yeah.
So there is expectation here. And the reason now, by the way, that the expectation is on the floor, the pits, is because of you. Do you know what he's managed to do? It's a very difficult thing for someone to do. He's changed the nation, but not in a good way. He's made us... What we were at the beginning of this tournament was actually we were believers. We thought it could happen. We were like, this is going to be our tournament. There is a genuine chance. We've been knocking on the door. We've been to a semi-final. We've been to 2 consecutive Euros finals. This could be our tournament.
Yeah, I know.
And now we've had...
How can you say we're not expected to win it?
Exactly. And there is no expectation. There is. He's managed to do the opposite of Klopp. Remember when Klopp went into Liverpool and he went, we need to turn doubters into believers. He's turned believers into doubters. We were believers. Because we were told that you're the guy. We turned our back on the St. George's Park pathway. We turned our back on Gareth Southgate. We turned our back on English managers to shortcut, pay a fortune, get to the front of the queue, get there ahead of our time and bring you in because you won a Champions League with Chelsea. Fine. Now we have no expectation, but we did before. Don't try and say we didn't.
Yeah, no. I have to say as I said, when I heard his interview, I wanted to punch the telly. And the more he talks, the more annoyed I get. It's like he's lying to us. It's almost like he's lying. He's trying to tell us how we feel about the English team and what we saw was wrong. Like how everyone in the nation could see that he got it wrong. Even Donald Trump come out and said he couldn't believe Kane ended up playing as a defender. Donald Trump.
But the thing is, I think Mexico kind of tricked everyone. Like, you know when you said there, when I was asking you, when were we good? If you actually analyse it, when were England good this tournament? You flagged Mexico. And I didn't really push back. Look, I was in Mexico. I loved it at the time as well. And I know that hindsight here is obviously a wonderful thing, but hindsight has taught us it wasn't actually that impressive. We defended resolutely against a team that we should have been battering, really. It was a circumstance. But I think what happened was that tricked everyone. It tricked maybe even Tuchel into believing that that's the process. Like, you will never, ever win anything if you aren't brave, if you aren't bold, if you aren't daring. The way that you win something is you go out and you claim it. You go and you make it yours. You can't defend your way to a title. You can't defend your way to a World Cup. And I think that what happened in Mexico actually has set this in motion. But it's not Thomas Tuchel's first rodeo of this. You know all this elite level manager.
Is he an elite level manager, Rory? You saw him, and this the reason I say this is because I look at his managerial kind of stuff, and he won the Champions League with Chelsea, but he failed at Bayern Munich. He failed at PSG. Is he elite level?
Look, I think he's probably one of the better managers around. Right? I think he's certainly a good manager, but elite? No, I don't think so. I think elite is for the creme de la creme, and I don't think he's that. I think there are major flaws in his game, major flaws in his CV. If you look at what he did when he was at Paris Saint-Germain, it's incredibly underwhelming. You know, got to a Champions League final, got beat. Everybody at Chelsea will talk about the Champions League and winning the Champions League. And obviously, that's a big deal. But circumstance is also very important. So when you look at Chelsea's run to that Champions League final, you'll see that we beat Atletico Madrid and you'll see that we beat Real Madrid. Like that, the implication when I say we beat Real Madrid or beat Atletico Madrid is that we've gone to the Bernabeu and won in front of a packed full house at the Bernabeu and we've beaten them. It was pandemic times. That game was played in the training ground with no support. So yeah, we beat Real Madrid, but it's not quite beating Real Madrid in what it suggests. We beat Atletico Madrid, but the game wasn't even played in Spain. You know, we beat Atletico Madrid. When I say that, you're thinking they've won at the Wanda Metropolitano.
Yeah.
No, we didn't win at the Wanda Metropolitano. The game wasn't even played in Spain. So you have to make of that what you will. It's still impressive, but there are circumstances to it. You then also have to remember that he's the Chelsea manager that got battered by Brendan Rodgers and Leicester City at Wembley. He's the Chelsea manager that lost both domestic cup finals to Liverpool. Like, we played Liverpool in 2 consecutive cup finals in the same season. I think it's the first time it happened since '93. I think Arsenal Sheffield Wednesday did it in '93. It didn't happen again until we played them 2022. played Liverpool in the FA Cup, played Liverpool in the League Cup. Got beat in both. Like Chelsea losing to Leicester, losing to Brendan Rodgers. That's not an elite level manager, is it? Like I think that Chelsea should have been beating Leicester. We should have certainly got something out of one of the cup finals against Liverpool. And then you look at what he's done elsewhere, capitulating in a Champions League final when he was Paris Saint-Germain manager. Then you look at what he's done with England. No, I don't think he's the guy. And even if you did before this, he has proven that he isn't the man for England. He has proven in his squad selection, in the way that he's handled this fallout. It's appalling. Like he's moaning about the players looking drained. Why do they look so drained? Like, when people are in these press conferences, wouldn't you just love to ask that? Why do they look so drained then, Thomas?
Yeah.
Is it because you haven't rotated? Is it because you didn't bring a deep squad? Is it because you selected players that were injured going into the tournament?
I can't believe a journalist has asked him the question about when he's mentioned England DNA, that no one's pushed back and said, well, you didn't take Foden, you didn't take Palmer, you didn't take Trent, and you didn't play Kobe Manu. Yeah. If you're going to talk about England's DNA, well, you didn't take four of the players who, in terms of what you're saying we haven't got, who have got it, you didn't take.
Here's a question for you then. Final 30 minutes against Argentina, if we want ball retention. Do you think that a midfield of Kobe Mano, Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham and Elliot Anderson are capable of looking after the ball in significant patches of the game?
Yeah.
So do I. So it isn't anything to do with
having
DNA.
wingers on the pitch to get out.
So it isn't anything to do with DNA, you pillock. It's to do with you setting up a team that is workmanlike. You've picked a team built on the physicality, the pace, the reason why, and he had a great tournament, Jed Spence, but he's not there because of his prowess on the ball. No. He's there because of his physicality.
Yeah.
If you want players on the ball, you pick Trent Alexander-Arnold. So it is so disingenuous to come out afterwards and go, tell you what, we just don't look after the ball very well. They weren't set up to look after the ball very well, as well because you set them up, you liar.
All right, you can have your say on it. We're going to take calls. You're listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent a Car. Whenever it is, they're here for it.
Has to go, mate. I'm sorry, Jeff. Like, when we are paying £8 million for a foreign coach to come in and win us our first trophy since 1966, and that's what he does in a semi-final for an Argentinian side that were there for the taking, and to do what he did 10 times worse than anything Southgate's ever done negatively, I'm sorry, he has to go, mate. Simple as that. The FA have to make a decision, and I just didn't like his interview, the arrogance of his interview. No regrets. Yes, you have got regrets, mate. You've got regrets. There was loads of trouble after the game across the country. Everyone was together. And that's on you, Thomas Tuchel. That's on you. The negativity, cowardly tactics. You can't blame the players. I'm hearing people say, Jeff, that, the players on the pitch have got to make decisions. There's some experience. No, you listen to your coach. Your coach tells you to play a certain formation. You listen to him.
Yeah.
He has to go. Simple as that. No foreign coach has ever won the World Cup. Maybe for a reason. We've given it a go now again with a foreign coach, and that's what he's done.
I mean, Alan here has just tested the same sort of thing you were saying. So Tuchel's shortcomings have been exposed. What about the players' shortcomings? Well, look, the players, we've got 6 defenders on. We've got 4 central defenders on at the end for the cross that Messi puts into Laura Martinez. So, yes, I get that. But ultimately, the can has to be carried by the coach, especially with the negativity. I mean, look, everybody said this, but the negative. Anthony Gordon is flying. We scored a brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. You'll have loved, the fact that came Declan Rice, who's soon to come off as well. Morgan Rogers, and a lovely finish to Anthony Gordon. And Gordon's feeling 10 feet tall, so what do we do? Oh, we'll take him off.
Yeah, you are listening to the World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT. Me, Jamie Hard, Rory Jennings. Time now to head to the phone lines. Here's some of your shared takes with Burger King.
Shared takes on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app.
Let's go to Stephen. All right, Steve. Steve?
Hello.
All right, Steve.
Hey, mate. This is Tom, not Steve. It's Tom Stevenson.
Tom? Sorry, Tom.
Yeah.
Go on, what do you want to say,
Oh,
Steve?
Jamie O'Hara. Wow, a pleasure.
How are you, mate? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Yeah.
Go on, what do you want to say?
Get over it all, and it took a couple of days. It's still there. Still a bit heartbreaking, but that's how it is, isn't it?
How do you feel about Tuchel?
I'm just pushing back on what Rory said, basically. Like Klopp, yeah, okay, Klopp. With his first season with Liverpool, how did he get on? He didn't get on very well, did he?
Right. Is that the point?
So we need to. So Thomas Tuchel needs a bit of time. He got pushed into the tournament right at the start.
But that's not what this was. No, but you're moving the goalpost. That's not what the Thomas Tuchel appointment was. It wasn't a project. He was initially given one tournament, wasn't he? He was initially given. The contract was supposed to be up now, initially, before weirdly the FA decided to bid against themselves and give him an extension for absolutely no reason. He was brought in to be an impact manager to land, win England a World Cup. That's what it was. Success or failure rested on winning this tournament.
Well, Rory, how many times have we got to a semi-final in the last 20, 30 years of a major tournament?
Well, Gareth Southgate did it. Gareth Southgate did it 8 years ago, and they sacked him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, fair play. That's absolutely fair play. But then the next tournament that Gareth come to, we got to a final.
Right.
So what do we do? Do we get another manager that we think's another elite manager, or do we just do we just
But the two points here, Tom, are separate, aren't they?
At least we've got Nations League game. We've got a first Nations League game against Spain. So at least give him that. Let's see what we look like against.
But you're moving the goalpost. Why would you give him a tournament when he's proven to us that what he was brought in to do, he's failed at doing? Why are we persevering with a man who has proven to us that they're a failure?
I take that on board. That's absolutely that's fair play. That's fair play. But I just think he definitely needs a little bit more time. Okay. There were games there. There weren't a game apart from the second half of the Croatia game. There wasn't a.
You're a very generous man. You're a very generous man, Tom. Very generous man.
Tom, I'm going to have to jump in because we've got some breaking news, and it involves Chelsea have reached a verbal agreement with Aston Villa to sign Morgan Rogers. And the Athletic are reporting a bid of £117 million has been accepted, although the deal for the attacking midfielder is still being finalised. Personal terms are in place. 6-year contract through to 2032 with the option of a further 12 months, and a medical is scheduled for Monday.
This is amazing. This is amazing, isn't it? This is exactly the news that we needed. This is probably the best. If we get this over the line, it will be the best signing that we have made for absolutely ages.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Like not only because of the player, I think he's a class act. I think he did very well for England. I think he's destined for the very top. But it would be such a message. You know, sometimes when you sign a player, there is a statement that you make with that signing. Like he's linked with Arsenal. The best team in the country are currently linked with him. And if we get him, if we poach him, not only is it brilliant for us, it's brilliant the message that it sends. Xabi Alonso will clearly want him, clearly get him playing well. He must believe in our project. He must have been given some assurances. I think this is amazing. If we get this over the line, it will actually be the proof that Chelsea are giving Xabi Alonso the control that he needs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over the moon with this. I really, really hope that we can get this done.
Well, it looks like it's going to happen. Chelsea have agreed a fee for Morgan Rogers, £117 million. Let's go to John. He's a Chelsea fan. He's phoned us up to talk about Tuchel. All right, John?
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, John. Look, just before we talk about England, Morgan Rogers looks like he's going to Chelsea.
Yeah, unbelievable. Where'd that come from?
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, fair play. £117 million. Is he worth that?
It's not my money. Get it over the line. I'm happy.
Yeah, right and all. Yeah.
It's true. It's true. When people argue about is he worth that, Cundy always says it ain't my money.
Yeah, when people try and make it, but they try and make it their victory. You know, when their club makes a profit.
Yeah.
Like we made a profit last year. How much of it's ended up in your skyrocket, mate?
Yeah, nothing.
Exactly.
Look, you want to talk about Thomas Tuchel?
Yeah, also, and Harry Kane.
Go on.
So, just Harry Kane, he's put on his pedestal of being one of the best strikers to sort of ever grace the Premier League. Listen, he's done well, he's scored goals, but when it comes to the big games, he's not done it. England, Tottenham, whoever. He's gone to Germany and he scored a bucket load of goals over there, but so did Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. So how good can we really say he is when it really matters?
Well, he is world class. He is world class, but I don't think the manager helped him in the semi-final. The manager didn't help him in the semi-final, did he?
No, he should have been taken off in the semi-final because he gave us nothing. He can't hold the ball up. Well, he's sitting so far deep, he can't hold the ball up. He can't go. He can't run with the ball. He can't pin the defender. So what was he doing in that semi-final?
It's interesting, John. I do think it's interesting. I rate Kane so highly, and I think Jamie's assessment there that he's a world-class player is very uncontroversial. However, you're also right. The geezer's scored 1 billion goals, and none of them have really counted for anything. It's just like,
I think it's a loose term. World-class.
Well, the goal.
You want to call Haaland a world-class striker? Then you look at the Brazil game against Norway-Brazil. He gets the ball on the edge of the box. There's no one around him. He puts the ball
Is
in the net.
Mbappe a world-class striker?
Mbappe?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he is.
Well, he done nothing in the semi-final. He was non-existent for France.
He's got a hat-trick in the last World Cup final, and he took France.
Well played, John.
In this semi-final, though, against Spain, he done nothing. So, do you know what I mean? Like,
listen, but that's one game, Jamie. Like, Harry Kane, I can list 6 off that he's not scored goals in.
No, listen, I don't like to knock Harry Kane, but I do believe that there is a conversation that does have to happen about the future of Harry Kane playing centre forward for England in future tournaments. I still want Harry Kane to be involved, but I would potentially look at playing him as a number 10 because he plays there anyway.
Yeah, but then you're displacing the best player. Jude Bellingham, who's done more in 2 tournaments than Kane's done in 6 or 7.
But could you not play Jude Bellingham as a number 8? We talk about ball retention. We talk about having great players who want to get on the ball. Right? Could you not play Bellingham as an 8 and Harry Kane as a 10 and have a centre forward like Ollie Watkins, Rashford, anyone up front? You know, and then you're talking about people who can keep the ball. Well, if you can play Harry Kane as a 10, Bellingham as an 8, and Rice as a 6, that's a pretty decent midfield.
Yeah, no, I hear it. And also Tuchel, going to Tuchel, in taking Rice off, I know he might have not been fit, but that just absolutely killed us. How can you replace Rice with Dan Burn? And how can you, in half hours to go, take Anthony Gordon off for a centre-back?
I think that's the problem, isn't it?
It's set the tone, didn't it? It set the tone. We all know that now. It set the tone. What I find remarkable is that Tuchel still is doubled down on that decision.
He got a call from one of his German mates as he went 1-0 up, and he said, "No, you can't win the World Cup with them lot, mate. Sabotage it."
Yeah, well,
I can't believe.
I tell you, somebody was telling me how heartbroken Thomas Tuchel was, and I assume they were talking about when Paraguay knocked Germany out of the World Cup.
yeah, that's it.
John, listen, mate. Thanks for your call. Look, just on Harry Kane, because I know everyone loves Harry Kane, right? And he had a really good tournament. Again, though, when it got to the big game, which he has had the problem of people saying he goes missing in the big one, he did struggle in the semi-final. Moving forward with Harry Kane in England, is there a possibility that you do play him as a number 10?
Okay, this is one for you to answer. Look, you played the game. You're a former Premier League player. What I don't understand with Harry Kane is he is brilliant, and everything that you said about him in that conversation that we just had there with the Chelsea fan was completely accurate. He is world class. He is brilliant. What he does with the football is poetry. Why doesn't he just play up front? Why does he persist? Like, there were various points this World Cup where he's deeper than our midfielders.
Yeah, I know.
You know, what are you doing? Like, could you have a conversation with him? Could a manager, could Thomas Tuchel say to him, listen, Harry, I literally want you to just stay up front.
I just don't think it's his game.
But it has to be, or you're not doing your role for the team.
But I think the way that Harry Kane becomes so great is the fact that he does drop in, he gets on a half-term, he picks out passes. But he picked out the pass and went to Rodgers
he did.
for the goal.
He did. There's one example, and you've flagged it. But if he had stayed as your archetypal number 9, just operate around the box, do nothing, don't pull wide, just operate around the box, shoot on sight. You've got that ping in you. You've got a great strike. You've got a wonderful record of scoring goals. Just do that. If somebody had said that to him, I would be far happier with maybe Declan Rice spraying the play and Harry Kane being on the end of things, rather than our shape going all over the place because Harry Kane has decided he's going to be a quarterback.
I just think, moving forward, I genuinely think that we should play Kane as a number 10.
But he can't really play with a striker in front of him, can he? Or
Why
can
not?
he? So what? So, for example, if it was this tournament...
I'd play Rashford.
Rashford down...
Or Watkins.
So what? Harry Kane has... Although it then starts getting very, very murky with Jude Bellingham, do they start getting in each other's way?
No, because Jude Bellingham can still do what he wants in midfield. Jude Bellingham can play as a number 8. Jude Bellingham can still run beyond. Nothing changes really with Jude Bellingham. But Harry Kane sits in the hole because that's where he drops, he gets deep. But you ain't complaining about him being deep because you've got centre forward.
I think that's it then.
In front of him.
Yeah, I think the answer is here that we found a happy medium. He either needs to be told, do nothing other than score. And do you know what? Interestingly, Dean Ashton was on talkSPORT. He spoke about this. He was told by Steve Holland when he was really young, just you're a goal scorer. Stop dropping, stop pulling wide, just score goals.
Yeah.
So Harry Kane either needs to be told, in no uncertain terms, you stay forward. You lead the line, you score goals, and you operate as close to that 18-yard line as possible. Or Ollie Watkins is in the team and you're too good to drop. So you're in the team, but you're in the team with midfield responsibilities.
Yeah. Well, I would give him them. If you've got a share, take your own. You can voice note us. Simply give us a call 0717 22 3344. Reminder, the breaking news: Chelsea have reached a verbal agreement, Aston Villa, to sign Morgan Rogers for £117 million. That's all thanks to Burger King.
Shared takes on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in the box every time. Order now on the BK app.
I wonder whether he went back, muscle memory, whether he's gone back to what happened against Mexico, where we dealt with 5 at the back and they threw things at... But this ain't Mexico.
There's 20 minutes left.
It's
20 minutes of normal time, Jace.
It's more than that.
And we had a man sent off against Mexico. You could almost accept it.
I know.
You're playing against Argentina.
Yeah.
You can't sit off for 25 minutes against Argentina. He absolutely bottled it. Thomas Tuchel's cost us the World Cup. He cost us the World Cup. We're 1-0 up. Played well first half. All right, cagey affair. We go 1-0 up. Be brave. Be brave, Thomas. This is what we brought you in for. We brought you in for this moment. We got rid of Southgate because he bottled it, because he weren't brave. We brought you in for now to make that decision. We're 1-0 up in a World Cup semi-final. Bring on Rashford. Bring on Saka. And if they score, they score. But at least we're going to go down fighting. At least we're going to go down with some pride. We fell out of the World Cup in disgrace because of him. Because of him. And we brought him in for this job. This is what we brought him in for, to get us over this line. And it's the same old England, same old crap, same old guff that I have to watch every tournament that we're in. And it's the manager's tucked us up again. Tucked us up. We're dead on our feet. Got Morgan Rogers playing right wing, Jude Bellingham on the left. Brings on Nico O'Reilly. We can't get out. Harry Kane's done nothing. He's dead. Nothing. Got nothing left.
I don't.
I can't believe it, Jace.
Well, no.
Jace, I can't believe it.
No,
It's a disgrace.
He
should be sacked. Get him out. Gone.
I totally agree. I can't believe that we've moved on from Southgate. And it was, if you look back over how we've limped out of World Cup or Euros, whatever, it was literally rinse and repeat. It's the same reasons. It was cowardice.
You are listening to the World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. The summer of sport gets better. World Match Play Darts gets underway in Blackpool. Every day will be live on talkSPORT 2. Let's cross over to the team now. Ian Danza alongside Paul Nicholson and Chris Mason.
Evening, Jamie. Thanks. Welcome to the Princess Ballroom in Blackpool. Night one of the 2026 World Match Play set to get underway within the hour. 32 of the world's top players here competing for a £1 million prize pot. Record first prize of £225,000 goes to the winner of the men's tournament next Sunday. Luke Littler is the defending champion. Well, he's won pretty much everything in the game. He's only got one more major to win to complete the set before he reaches the age of 20. And he's in action tonight as one of the 4 matches we'll bring you on talkSPORT 2. And he'll be taking on one of the 4 debutantes at this tournament, German Nico Springer. And Paul Nicholson and Chris Mason are with me. And Luke is just riding high, not playing in many domestic floor tournaments, Nico. Doesn't need to in many respects, but who can stop him here?
There are plenty of people who can, but whether they will is a very different matter. Phil Taylor, in his pomp, he used to play very few events, but when it came to this place, he would always peak. When we talk about Littler being world number 1 right now, he's looking to mimic what Phil Taylor's done, what Michael van Gerwen's done, what Rodney Harrington did at the end of the 1990s to become the 4th person to defend this title. But that's easier said than done.
Mace, you've been having a chat with his mum and dad, haven't you?
Yeah, listen, he's a course and distance specialist. Long form darts and leg play is something that he particularly likes. He's won 30 of 31 matches since becoming a professional that have lasted 20 legs or longer. That's Taylor-esque type stats, frightening numbers. We always sort of have that concern that is he going to come in undercooked, because, as you rightly say, the last time he played a singles match was before the World Cup, which feels like a lifetime ago. But listen, it works for him right now. Will it work this week? You would have to say, I probably think so. But listen, it's a tricky thing. It's not, as Nico rightly said, it's not been defended many times by multiple players. But he is world number 1, and the one thing Nico found was world number 1s do defend.
This is a wonderful place to have darts. It's a wonderful venue, the Princess Ballroom. Ornate. There's a really knowledgeable darts crowd that comes here every year to fill out every session. We've got 32 of the world's best players, the top 16 in the rolling order of merit, plus the top 16 in terms of current form, we would say. Are there any surprise packages, gentlemen, that you want to pick out before a dart's thrown tonight?
Well, I'm sorry, Nico. I like the look of Aspinall and Cullen, our final game of the session. Listen, they're great pals, both superb dart players. Aspinall, a former champion here, of course. That one on night 1 really stands out for me.
I think as far as surprise packages are concerned, if you're trying to find one, you're looking for someone who's actually got experience but not expected to win. We've got some debutants in this tournament, and people like Neil Zonneveld and Nico Springer, they've been in form for months, if not a year. So it's not a surprise they're here. The biggest surprise is that Daryl Gurney's not here, because he was the person who missed out on the cut-off.
And we've got James Wade here for his, I think this is 21st consecutive match play.
Yeah.
Reached the final last year, we shouldn't forget. Loves this place as much as anybody else. Maybe he's got something to say about progress in this tournament once again.
Listen, you can't write James off. He again, a course and distance specialist. He loves this environment. He loves the Winter Gardens. First 3 tournaments he played here, he made the final on every single occasion. He's going to be a danger.
Darts on the Radio is back then. The whole tournament will be live on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT app throughout until a week tomorrow, when both the men's and the women's match play titles will be decided. Just make sure you're with us on talkSPORT 2 in the app, and you won't miss a dart.
Right, cheers, boys. Can't wait for it. Let's get back to some calls on England. Go to Jeff. He's a West Ham fan, right, Jeff?
Hello, Jamie and Rory. First time callers, so bear with me. I've just got a couple of points to make.
Go on.
I'm not going to talk about Tuchel, because we know we've been in this position before, and I was waiting for him to do something, same as Southgate, to roll the dice first. He never. Okay, so that's that. But just with this mentality thing and DNA,
my son's at an academy. He's 12 years old.
Yeah.
I won't say which one, but all the academies are looking for from the grassroots age is big and strong, okay? So they're not necessarily interested in technical players. All they want is big, strong, physical athletes. And when you've got ball-playing players, they're not necessarily looking at that side at that age. And I'm just saying, and when you compare that to the Spanish model, they're not the biggest, strongest, powerful footballers, but they're able to retain the ball. So I'm just saying that mentality Thomas is mentioning, it could be something which is coming from our grassroots system. Because I promise you, when my son gets scouted, that's what they're looking for.
No,
So
listen,
that's just-
I hear you. I know that has been a thing at academy level throughout the years, and it does seem like we are going a bit more athletic. That's because the Premier League is that way. So I understand where you're coming from, but my argument to that is the cream always rises to the top.
100%.
So, you know, if you are a technically gifted football player like Rio Engamoa, like Max Staumann, you know, like young lads who we're going to see coming through emerging over the next 5 years, right? The cream rises to the top. So you have got a national pool of players still who are gifted and talented with the ball at their feet.
I'm just saying, what a scout may look for at this age, I'm just saying someone could be technically brilliant, but because they're not at that development stage in their growth, they get disregarded. I'm just saying it's a pattern I see on the grassroots level, and I'm just saying that maybe that being able to retain the ball could. That's just the point I just want to make.
No, it's a good point, and it's a good point.
At the academy level at under 12s. The next thing I want to make is that Harry Kane, right? Because Rory was saying that some of the Argentinians won't get in our England midfield, right? But the difference for me is that these guys from Argentina, they know how to win. They've got that extra. Whatever it is, they are natural born winners, and they will win at all costs, right? And I think this filters from the head down, because when I look at Kane, I would say he's top tier. But for me, he's not elite, because when it comes to the big stage, he can't necessarily pull it out of the bag. And I would put that also down to spending too much time at Tottenham for 10, 12 years. No offence, Jamie, but it's safe, because I'm telling you, if for an elite player, he would look at that setup, get out there, and I know he's done it at Bayern, but it's too late. He wanted. When you look at Jude Bellingham, he's on a different trajectory. At the age of 23, he's doing stuff already. And I'm looking at, when you're talking about should Harry Kane drop deeper, when you see your captain dropping deep, that sends out a message to the whole, never mind Tuchel, but you've got a captain on the pitch to dictate play on the pitch. And when you see your captain dropping deep, and I'm looking for a leader. And the difference is so I'm saying, basically my point is, we need to get Jude Bellingham as captain as soon as possible, because I promise you, if you would have asked Jude before the game about the Argentinian game, he would say, excuse my language, I'm not going to swear, but you know what he would say. He would say, I'm not interested in Messi, this and that. He said he would put together a different interview to what Harry Kane would play the polite PR route. But Jude Bellingham is a winner. He's a born winner. And that leadership, that will to win, that determination, he will feed through the team. And I think, so I'm not criticising Harry Kane. I'm saying he's top. But he's not elite, because when you look at Mbappe, when you look at your Ronaldos, when you look at, other players, Messi's and Maradona's, single-handedly, they've managed to pull their teams through at the big moments. So when Rory was saying, when you're looking at your team and your talisman is playing left back or midfield, then your team's going to drop. So I'm saying the quicker we can get a natural born winner, which is Jude Bellingham,
all right,
and
Jeff,
build the team around that.
All right, Jeff, good call, mate. Very good call. And it's something to talk about. We'll have that discussion after the break. You can have your say. 03717 22 33 44.
Now, we get the inevitable fallout after a World Cup, and there are reports that one or two of the England players were very surprised that we went ultra defensive in that closing stage of the game. And we were saying earlier on to Stan Collymore that there's a lot of making up to be done by Thomas Tuchel. A lot of people now would have lost trust and belief maybe in his methods, and that would include fans, it would include media, and he's going to have a very prickly time with the media, I guess, over the next 2 years, and maybe some of the players as well, Adrian.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's it's a big moment in his England career. Everything had been okay and judgment had been on hold, but judgment was always going to come with what happened at this World Cup, because he was brought in to win the World Cup. And there's no shame in losing to the reigning champions, Argentina, who've still got a player like Messi, who is the best we'll ever see in our lifetime, but it's the manner in which you lose that game, and that manner was not acceptable. Since then, he's come out and basically said, oh, it's the players' fault, not mine. That's how it could be interpreted, and I think that's not going to go down very well. Certainly doesn't go down well with me, because he's been in the job long enough now, and he should have studied it in remember the 6 months he had off before taking the job? Well, in that time, he should have studied the England DNA. We all know about the England DNA.
Yeah.
Your job, mate, is to come in and change that DNA. And if you can't do it, then off you pop, because you're not welcome. You've got nothing to offer us if you can't change that DNA. And actually, the last couple of games, Norway and Mexico, he's been adhering to that DNA, playing up to that DNA. So if he needed something different, he should have already done something about it in meeting rooms, classrooms, on a training pitch. He's had enough time at this World Cup to really work hard with these players.
Few people win the World Cup as a player. Very few people win the World Cup as a manager. Only 3 men in history have done both. One of them is Didier Deschamps. I mean, what a team. For our younger viewers, that's Zidane, Desailly, Leboeuf, Thuram. I could go on. And in 1998, those legends were captained by Didier Deschamps. Before that tournament, Deschamps had been winning league titles and Champions Leagues with Marseille and Juventus, and had led Les Bleus since 1996. They hadn't even qualified for the World Cups in 1990 and 94, but Deschamps had spearheaded the Renaissance. It culminated in that final against Brazil. The 30-year-old playing at the base of midfield was keen to get stuck in. Fais-le savoir que tu es là, French for let him know you're there, according to Google Translate. Zidane and Petit got the glory, but Deschamps controlled the game before lifting the trophy into the Parisian night sky. After winning the Euros 2 years later, he hung up his boots and jumped into management. He had spells in club football before, in 2012, being put in charge of his nation. France scraped into the 2014 World Cup via the playoffs and were pretty pleased about it. Even a quarter-final defeat couldn't dampen the optimism. The tables, French fans believed, were starting to turn. They were runners-up to Portugal in their own Euros, but that silver medal around the manager's neck was about to change colour. In 2018, World Cup magic. France handed an almighty beatdown to Croatia, and Deschamps got his hands on this for a second time. It meant that he joined Brazil's Mario Zagallo and Germany's Franz Beckenbauer as the only men to have won the World Cup as a player and manager. France's victory even turned their president, Emmanuel Macron, into a meme. These still make me laugh, honestly. Deschamps went close to defending the title in 2022, but some guy called Lionel Messi had his own storyline to complete. Deschamps captained legends, he managed legends, and his World Cup achievements are legendary. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give this guy his flowers.
You are listening to the World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT, brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app. I'm your host, Jeremy High, alongside Rory Jennings. We're continuing to take calls on Thomas Tuchel. What exactly the FA should do once tonight's third place playoff has been dealt with. It's live on talkSPORT tonight. Are you watching it?
No, I'm boycotting it on principle. I am. I'm boycotting.
You're not going to watch it at all?
No, I mean, I always like to watch England play and that, but I feel like I owe it to my nation to boycott and make a statement. Not watching. I think I want every England fan in Miami, and we have such a dedicated support. Every single England fan travelling, make sure that Thomas Tuchel knows it's over. It's your responsibility if you're in Miami.
03717 223344. We're going to get more on Chelsea's proposed £170 million deal for Morgan Rogers. It's understood that a deal has been agreed with Aston Villa for the huge fee. talkSPORT understands also Rodgers actually met Mikel Arteta face-to-face weeks ago. Ben Jacobs is with us in around an hour's time, so stay tuned for that. Get involved in the show. It's the Game Day live on talkSPORT. Let's go to Adam. He's a Newcastle fan. All right, Ad?
Hi, mate. How you doing?
I'm all right,
also
Ad.
a massive
I'm all
England
right.
fan as well, by the way.
Sorry?
Also a massive England fan as well, but yeah.
Okay. Good man. Good man. Go on. What do you want to say? I mean, obviously, you must be heartbroken with how it all turned out in the end, but Thomas Tuchel's been a big talking point. Harry Kane as well, talking about him in the big games.
I mean, my point here is about Harry Kane, to be fair. I'm just not enjoying this slander he's been getting. I've heard a bit about him never turning up in big games. I've got a lot of points to make about this, to be fair.
Go on.
Heartbroken tonight, but I just think Harry Kane getting this grief about not turning up is so boring now. I think he suffers from a narrative that people just do accept as fact. People say he's missing in big games. If you actually look at his career, he doesn't really stand up. I mean, there are only a handful of genuine big games a season. Name me a lot of strikers that actually do score in every final or semi-final.
Drogba.
I
springs to mind. Mbappe springs to mind. Messi springs to mind.
Adam, there are a lot of players. There are a lot of big game players that are known as being big game players because they are exactly that.
Yeah. So how many times did Thierry Henry score in Champions League finals or every final? I don't know. Even Haaland now, Lewandowski, Rooney. But the biggest players.
Rooney did. Rooney scored against Barcelona at Wembley.
Yeah, Harry Kane, I remember, people talk about the Premier League being the biggest league in the world, best, hardest league. I remember it was when Conte was the Spurs manager. I remember when Spurs won 3-2 at the Etihad. I was watching the match on TV, whatever. Harry Kane turned that game by himself, scored both goals. Also, you're forgetting about his England record as well. I know, he scored a lot of penalties for England, but he's the amount of goals he's scored to be the record goal scorer. He's still scored big goals.
No, but Adam, nobody's doubting that Harry Kane knows where the back of the net is. Nobody's doubting that he is. I think he's class, and I don't really like making the argument that I'm about to make because it feels unjust to him on some level. But it is true. When it most matters, he doesn't score. He scored 1 billion goals, but how many of them have actually counted for anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the time this gets a bit confused. England losing gets confused a lot with Kane was poor. It's a really important distinction, basically, in my opinion. When England lose a knockout game, like we did the other night, people remember the results, then they work backwards. If England lose, Kane must have bottled it. Someone got it wrong. Someone went missing. And I don't think football's that simple. A striker can play well and still lose because the team doesn't create very little.
Did he play well? Did he play well in England lose?
Against Argentina, I don't think it was his best game, no. But you also got to blame the manager a bit here as well, in my opinion. Kane, he actually sacrifices his own numbers as well. By doing what the manager says, he drops into midfield, he links play, creates chances as well. His role has evolved to not be the striker, basically, a lot of the time. Sometimes it actually means he's further away from goal than a traditional number 9 is. His passing vision and tendency to influence games is that's highlighted a lot more from the TV and the analysis nowadays.
Yeah, but hasn't that been the problem when he's played for England in the latter stages of a tournament? That's not what we've wanted from him. We need him to lead the line.
I know, but if he's not getting that, he's obviously not being instructed to be the man to lead the line at the moment, especially with the tactics where we've got Bellingham sitting behind as well. He's been the runner. I just think it's not as simple as. As I said, I genuinely think referring to other examples of strikers that haven't done this. People remember, for example,
when Messi wins the World Cup, you know, when Ronaldo wins the Euros, etc. And they forget that the dozens of knockout games that these players don't score in. Genuinely, there are a handful of elite strikers that have been recognised as being the best in the world for the last 20 years.
But Harry Kane is an elite striker. We're not disputing that.
Yeah.
We're not disputing that he's an elite striker. But if you look at England over the last 10 years in terms of Gareth Southgate's reign and now Thomas Tuchel's, there has been question marks over Harry Kane in that final period of the tournament when you need your big game player to step up.
Yeah.
And it's not only with England, is it? This is something that was evident at Tottenham. When Tottenham got to a Champions League final, when Tottenham won the Champions League semi-final, he wasn't in the team.
He wasn't fit for that champion. He was injured for that. And you're a Spurs fan, Jamie. Like, he wasn't. He didn't play in that semi-final.
He's on the pitch. You're judged by if you're on the pitch, you're judged as a footballer. You can't make excuses for somebody in the Champions League final.
There has been question marks over him when he was at Tottenham. When we got to finals, it wasn't just the Champions League final. There's other finals we got to that he didn't play. It wasn't at his. You'd argue that he could have done more.
Yeah. Surely you should. Do you not remember at the time there was I remember this 7 years ago, just following football. There were calls that Lucas Moura should start that final because he scored the hat-trick in the semi.
Yeah.
And Kane shouldn't have started that final. Pochettino shouldn't have started him. He wasn't fit. And that's a lot of the time that's what's referred to as one of the finals where he didn't show up in.
But Adam, you're being very generous. You're being very generous to Harry Kane here. When we give you an example of where Harry Kane hasn't necessarily performed, you put it down to injury rather than his own responsibility to announce that he's injured to his manager or a lack of performance.
I don't think Harry Kane got helped in the game against Argentina. I don't think the manager helped him.
No.
I think the manager killed him. Harry Kane is a striker that needs people to run beyond him.
Yeah.
And if he hasn't got that, then it makes it very difficult for him to really play the game that he wants to play because he is one of them. He's a 9 and a 10, right? And he's unbelievable at it. He's world class. But in that game against Argentina, especially in the second half, you needed people to still run beyond him. But that stopped because Jude Bellingham had run out of legs. Morgan Rogers wasn't getting beyond, and he took Anthony Gordon off.
Yeah.
So the problem we had then is Harry Kane could only sit in because that's what we're used to seeing. Because there wasn't people who were going to run for him. Because the manager didn't make the decision to bring on anyone who could run beyond him.
But that backs my point up. Is that Kane's fault? What do we expect Harry Kane to do? Just pick the ball up, beat all these players and score a goal to prove he's delivering in big games.
Adam, is anything Harry Kane's fault? In any performance ever? Is it ever Harry Kane's fault?
Oh, 100%. He's probably in the past. Yeah, he has.
It's just every example that we've put forward. Maybe the League Cup final of 2015 when he was representing Tottenham and got done by Chelsea. That wasn't his fault. The Champions League final, he was injured. The game against Argentina, it was the manager. At what level do we go, Kane? If he is the man that you're saying he is, this elite level footballer, at what point does he take responsibility for his own lack of delivery when it most matters?
Well, I think. You bring up the League Cup final in 2015. That was his first full season.
Okay, so that was his first full season. Okay, so that was his first full season. There was an injury. Then we're blaming the manager. You give me an example when it was actually Kane's fault then.
I don't think. To be honest, under Southgate, so they say the both Euro finals.
Mm-hmm.
He for example, he started the move which set up Luke Shaw's goal.
Okay, so that wasn't. So that defeat wasn't his fault. Okay, so literally nothing.
I genuinely think he's made a scapegoat a lot, and I think a lot of the time it comes from a bit of tribalism. I think plays a part as well. I think there's an element of club tribalism. Kane did spend over a decade at Tottenham, so naturally, rival fan bases like yourself, being a Chelsea fan, also Arsenal fans, they spend years trying to diminish what he's achieved, in my opinion, as well. And I think there's this narrative: if England play badly, Kane plays badly, and I'm not here.
I don't think that's the narrative, though. I don't think people. Harry Kane's had a decent World Cup. Yeah, he's had a brilliant World Cup.
Yeah.
But in that game against Argentina, you are going to look at the picture of how the game went. Right? What happened in the game? 1, Thomas Tuchel got it wrong. 2, did Harry Kane perform at his best? He's our main player. Did we get Harry Kane in the game? Did we produce for Harry Kane? Did Harry Kane produce for himself?
Yeah.
You'd argue that he didn't.
If he hadn't made the subs, he'd have had those runners. And I think for the Argentina game, you can blame Tuchel for Kane not playing well. Every player is not going to turn up sometimes, but I think this narrative that he doesn't turn up in big games, in my opinion, is
no, in your opinion, it's definitely not accurate. But every opportunity that we've given you to say it was his fault, it isn't. Literally every single one. Like maybe I'm being overly harsh, but literally every single one. You've said it isn't his fault. You've insulated him from criticism in every single. No, just big games. Big games. The semi-final when he didn't square it to Sterling. Whose fault was that?
I mean, he probably should have squared it, but he still scored 6 goals in that World Cup. I know it was against
How many against Panama?
3, but I mentioned as an example that Man City game. Also, he's on that Bayern Munich record this season in the Champions League. He scored how many games in a row in knockout?
Do you know, Adam? This has been great. It really has been good to talk to you. But you know, when you spoke about the tribalism that perhaps I might be displaying with regard to Harry Kane, you're right. I'm a Chelsea fan. Obviously, I'm massively biased against Tottenham generally. I don't think I have that with Kane. I think I see the wood for the trees. I like him. I rate him. I really do.
Yeah.
But you're actually displaying an element of tribalism and loyalty to Kane, far beyond any bias I'm displaying.
And listen,
and I kind of rate you for it, mate. Good luck to it.
Yeah, thanks for your call. It is a talking point. I don't think we're sitting here saying Harry Kane had a bad tournament.
No, I love Kane. I love Kane, but I just think it is a conversation that when we needed him, like it got to the stage, didn't it, where before the Argentina game, we're actually going, Kane probably won't perform today. You're kind of thinking he won't because we've seen it so many times.
Just on the game tonight, talkSPORT understands that Kobe Mainoo will not start the game tonight.
Just sack this fraud, man. Just sack this fraud now. Just get him out. I honestly think that it would be a great statement from the FA. Mid-tournament
Kobe Mainoo should just go home.
It's a disgrace.
He should just get on the plane and go home.
It is out of order.
Yeah, like I'd just book a flight.
Like Jordan Henderson got minutes. Jordan Henderson got minutes in this tournament.
It's crazy.
And he was only fit for about 2 games of it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm not sure when we'll get the team news. It'll be probably an hour and 15 before the game. Normally we get that. So hopefully on this show we will get team news, and it'll be interesting to see who he does pick. We'll definitely have a discussion about it. But keep your calls coming in. We're talking about Harry Kane. We're talking about Tuchel. 03717 22 33
Up until 72 minutes, we were going to get into the World Cup.
Crap.
Oh, we weren't crap.
The goal,
right?
the goal
we
was
weren't
a wonderful ball from Morgan Rogers.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you to put your playing hat on now.
Yeah.
Your Argentina, is that a good goal or has they switched up at the back post?
That's a bad goal. You switched off. The right back, or was it the right back? Doesn't it doesn't even react.
Why does that need to criticise a bad goal for England? It was a great goal. We went 1-0 up. It's a great cross.
It was a great cross.
Why can't you argue that Gordon lost his man to score the goal?
Because the geezer doesn't even see him.
Well,
it doesn't go
there must be a reason for that.
He doesn't run and go boom boom. He just runs and the guy's like, oh my man.
Sure, you can't criticise a goal that we scored.
I'm not criticising it. I'm saying we didn't play well. We had 5 shots in the whole game.
Yeah.
They had 5 on target. Remember, they don't call the 2 that hit the post on target.
Yeah, but
so they had the same amount of shots.
But man for man, they're better than us. But
no, they're not.
Well, they are.
No, they're not.
Not man for man, they're not.
Man for man, they're better than us.
Well, last night they were.
Yeah, but still, I think maybe you maybe at a stretch, maybe 3 of their players maybe gets into the England.
Exactly. And they're not man for man better than us. What they can do better, and this is why I thought Messi's greatness yesterday really showed.
Yeah.
Because you know when they were 1-0 down, there was 40 minutes left, he went, give me the ball. He lost it a few times, give it me again. He hit crosses over, give it me again. Don't worry, just keep giving it me because I know I'm going to do it. Everyone in their team went, there's 2 lines. You can either be, I'm going to be the person who doesn't make a mistake, I'm going to be the person who wins the game. Everyone in their team and their bench went, we're going to win the game. I'm going to be the man.
Yeah.
Our team went, don't be the one to make the mistake.
No.
And we played with fear. Now, that doesn't always come from the manager. That comes from the players within. One person I do want to give a shout, because I've been very harsh on him with this whole thing. Jed Spence was top draw.
Yeah, he was.
Was top draw. So I give credit where it's due. But we've got top players, apparently. Where were they? You're listening to the World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. I'm Jamie Hire, Rory Jennings alongside me. Let's head back to Royal Birkdale. Gabby Partington is watching day 3 of the Open.
Thanks so much. Yeah, leading Englishman Tommy Fleetwood, round 3 is done and dusted. It's not the finish he would have hoped for with a bogey down the last, but will enter Sunday at 5 under par. So as it stands, 4 shots behind leader Sam Burns. What about Brian Fox, who's been in the clubhouse for some time now with that round of 62, where he remains a shot adrift alongside Lucas Herbert. And in terms of who's still out there, well, Bryson's, he's had a dynamic couple of holes, to say the least. He actually had to get on his hands and knees for an awkward bunker shot. He remarkably managed to make par, then backed that up with a birdie on 15 to move to 6 under par alongside Ludwig Oberg with the final 2 to play. And the world number 1, well, he's kind of gone under the radar today, hasn't he? Scotty Scheffler is part of a cluster of names at 4 under for the championship, including Shane Lowry, Jon Rahm and England's Dan Brown. We still have a few players out on the course that can put pressure on the leader in Sam Burns, and you can catch all the action live on talkSPORT 2.
The Open Championship update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get a discounted home charger from just £549 when you buy an electric car today.
We've been talking about Thomas Tuchel and Harry Kane, another person who's been doing exactly that. US President Donald Trump. Let's hear what he had to say with his best mate Infantino giggling next to him.
You have a great player in England who I played golf with, you know that, right? And he is Harry, who's been fantastic. I think they perhaps made a mistake when they made him a defensive player. What do I know about soccer? They took the league and they took their best player and then put him on defense. Then somehow, we got to be a little offensive, right? But no, I'm not going to call it. Look, what do I know about coaching? But that was a little unusual. But Harry is a great guy, actually.
Wow. I mean, when Donald Trump's coming out and saying it, you know you've made a Rick.
Yeah. Also, he says, what do I know about coaching? Well, mate, you're bang on.
Yeah.
You've hit the nail on the head, Donald. Far more squarely on the head, in fact, than our manager, who's on £5 million a year. So, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when he's coming out talking about Harry Kane and talking about making him. I was just like, oh, this is just another nail in the coffin.
I know.
It's just.
I know. Do you know what? I quite like it.
The whole world's talking about.
I quite like it. I like the noise. I want the pressure to be like infinite on Thomas Tuchel's shoulders. I want the FA to feel like the power of a nation saying, do the right thing and get this bloke out of the job. Fingers crossed.
Let's go to Hardip. He's a Newcastle fan. Hardip.
Hi, guys. How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, good, matey. You just heard Donald Trump talking about Harry Kane. What's your take on it?
Well, he's right. He's our number 9. He's our main striker, our main sort of person that we obviously need to target to get the goals. I don't feel like he was getting enough supply, though. Other than people like Anthony Gordon and Bellingham, I felt like the majority of England were playing sort of sideways and backward passes a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Basically, what the other guys said in regards to sort of grassroots and being comfortable on the ball, like when you look at the likes of Spain and France and Argentina and teams like this, they're very comfortable on the ball. And when they're playing their football and they've got possession, you don't feel like they're going to lose it, especially Spain, and they're very comfortable in that sort of format. I felt there's players that we should have brought in instead. I mean, players that weren't selected for the squad, such as Cole Palmer and Phil Foden, players who can very easily open up defences. That would have taken a lot of the pressure off players like, Harry Kane, who had to drop in deep to provide that service. And that would have helped a lot. That would have given England a completely different structure. And I mean, who knows, maybe the manager would have still gone defensive from the 70th minute onwards, which I felt was the wrong approach. You've got one of the best teams, or not the best team, you've got one of the best players in Messi, and you're giving him and Argentina 20 minutes to attack your defence.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like it's England's strong suit, if I'm honest with you. It's just...
I think throughout the tournament, I think we pretty much showed, maybe with the Mexico game did kind of pull the wool over everyone's eyes, that we are decent at defending. Like, throughout the tournament, we pretty much showed that we were shaky at the back, and our best form of defence was to attack. And then, obviously, because what we did against Mexico, and then everyone all kind of suddenly believed that we could hold on to a 1-0 win, and we couldn't. I think we made a huge mistake in believing that was actually an attribute of ours.
Yeah, and watching England, we've seen this type of England performances so many times where they put you in panic mode watching them.
Hardy, what do you make of right? We've got to look to the future now, really, because it's gone. It's never coming back. But the future of England, and Harry Kane is still going to be a big part of England over the next 2 or 3 seasons for sure. Definitely the Euros. Is there an argument to play Harry Kane as a number 10 and give him that license to drop deep, to have that influence on the game where you can kind of have a free role and dictate to him, but still make runs into the box late, but be that number 10? A bit like what, Rooney used to do. As he got older, he, started to play more as a number 10. Do you think playing Harry Kane as a 10, drop Bellingham as an 8, and then play a centre forward in front of him, so we can't have the argument of Harry Kane being deep. We can't have the argument of not having players running beyond and occupying centre halves, because you're allowing Harry Kane to be the number 10.
No, exactly. And the thing is, obviously, as he gets older, do you know what I mean? Like, if you look at players like Beckham, and you look at players as they get older, like Pirlo, for example, as they get older, they can influence the games in different ways. And Harry Kane's obviously is obviously very good at his vision and his passing as well. So definitely, I feel like in the future that will be a role that he should obviously. Well, I feel like that'll be a role for him in the future for sure. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a bad. Like obviously, I'm a Newcastle supporter, for example. So when I look at my own team, I feel that with the squad and obviously watching Newcastle in the transfer market at the moment, it's horrendous in itself. How players keep getting snapped up from us, Aston Villa, and last year Liverpool continuously.
You brought in Voltemada, right? I use him as an example. You brought in Voltemada as to be your striker. Eddie Howe realised pretty quickly he couldn't use. He had to adopt him as a number 10 because he wasn't leading the line how he expected him to lead the line, and turns out he's actually a half decent number 10, right? I feel like that decision has got to be made with Kane. I think a decision needs to be made that we all know. And listen, at club football for Bayern Munich, when he's playing against Guff every week and he scores a hat-trick and scores 50 goals a season, fine, go and play up front, fill your boots. But when you play for for England,
Jay, is the answer not play as a number 9 though? Is the answer not just do your job as a number 9? Just be told, rather than reinventing the wheel.
Yeah, but you're taking away his attributes.
But you're taking
away his attributes.
You might be taking away his attributes a touch, but you say, look, Harry, you are forbidden from dropping deep. You are just a centre forward. If you start allowing him to play as a number 10, I don't know what the impact that's going to have on.
But you're not taking anything away from his game.
Okay, so who do you drop? So you bring Watkins in up front.
Drop Anderson or Rice.
So your midfield becomes Kane,
Bellingham,
Kane, Bellingham, Rice.
That's what I would.
So then you've got Bellingham's responsibility has to be a lot more negative as well.
I don't think it's negative. I don't know.
He's going to have to make up for what Anderson
I don't know
would do.
why we have to have the two sitters that we had like in Rice and Anderson. We talked about going sideways and backwards all the time, right? Well, Bellingham ain't going to do that if he plays there. Bellingham is not going to play sideways and backwards. You can allow Rice to be the focal point of sitting, like the Rodri type player, who keeps it ticking and anticipates danger and is that defensive-minded player. Bellingham can be your number 8 because he's a box-to-box player. And you have Kane as a 10 who has a free role, but you still have a striker up front with pace who's going to run beyond and stretch the pitch. That, for me, is where I believe the future for England with Harry Kane in should be. That for me is where I think it should
Number 10. So Watkins, for example.
Well, Watkins
Watkins, for example, as the centre forward.
As the centre
Kane
forward.
can do what he
you
wants.
stay up front. You run the channels. You occupy the two centre
I think it might have to be that. If his propensity to drop deep isn't going to change.
I don't think it will change. It's not going to change. He's not going to change now. How old is he? He's 32, 33. He's not going to change. You can't start telling Kane to stay up front.
No, that's true. That's true.
Right, keep your calls coming in. We're going to have team news for France v England coming up in around 10 minutes. So stay tuned for that. We're also hear from some of the England fans out in Miami. We're going to pick our 2030 World Cup starting 11 as well. It's the World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT. Minute comes and we're still 1-up and we've been attacking and we've still created chances, but it hasn't quite gone in.
Yeah.
But we're 1-up and Rashford's on the pitch.
Yeah.
Saka's
yeah,
on the
go on,
pitch.
keep going. I'm
In the 85th minute, he brings on Dan Burn.
No.
Go, lovely
No, we get done the counter-attack. We can say. We can say.
What do you mean?
I just told you the scenario.
No, but that scenario is absolute crap.
No, it's
that scenario wouldn't have happened.
Jay, I'm just trying to paint you a picture about how we could lose the game in a different way based on what. Jay, I'm with you. Don't get angry with me.
No, I am getting angry.
No, don't get angry with me.
You're trying to tell me how I'm going to feel about a situation.
And you'd sit there and go, oh, well done, boys. Glorious failure. We had a right go.
Yeah.
Right go at the post-cup time. Got done in 2 counter-attacks. Fine. Go out in your shield. No way. No way you'd sit there and say that.
I would have sat there and I would have accepted it because I watched 4 bloody tournaments.
I don't believe you.
Of England.
I don't believe
doing
you.
exactly what we did last night.
I don't believe you.
And if we had gone out with Rashford and Saka on the pitch.
I don't believe you.
And still trying to attack, and we get done,
do you know what
then we get done.
Do you know what would be sitting there now? We'd be saying, how can Thomas Tuchel allow us to get done on the counter-attack twice, 85th and 92nd minute? How can that happen? You'll be saying the same thing, and it'll be a different conversation based on what the evidence is in front of you. You would.
Don't tell me how I'm going to feel.
Oh, you'd accept it, would you?
Oh, I've told you 10 times.
No chance. No chance. I know you too well. No chance. I wouldn't accept it. I wouldn't accept it. I'd be saying, why has he not got 5 at the back? Why is he not? He's 85th minute on the counter-attack. Listen, we agree. I'm just trying to.
No, you're not agreeing. You're not agreeing. No, you're not agreeing.
No, I am.
No, you're trying to wind me up.
No, I'm not. Jay, 100% I'm agreeing with you. Jay, 100% I'm agreeing with you.
You're not agreeing with me. You're not agreeing with me. Yeah, you are listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT, brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in a box every time. Order now on the BK app. England have the chance to secure their best World Cup finish since 1966, Rory. They take on France in what FIFA are calling the bronze final. It's live on talkSPORT, 10 p.m. kickoff. Team news coming up in around an hour's time. talkSPORT's Angelina Kelly is out in Miami, and she's speaking to fans.
Hey guys, Angelina here, and I am at the New York, New Jersey Stadium the day before the final, and I've got some pretty decent company here. It is the legit World Cup trophy. I'm guessing not many people get to touch it, let alone be this close to it. I don't know what they're doing letting me this close, but anyway, it looks amazing. I thought it'd be a little bit bigger, I'll be honest, but it looks heavy. It's amazing. We're here with Adidas at the stadium. They've been absolutely brilliant. We've managed to go into the Spain dressing room, have a little look around there. It's absolutely massive. We've had a little glimpse of the pitch already. The weather here is insane. We've been getting alerts on our phones. Considering it's going to be an open-air stadium for the final, it'll be interesting because the heavens have opened. It has been raining, pouring, but our moods have been improved by this experience, seeing the World Cup trophy in the flesh. The fact that England won't be lifting this, it's only been a few days, I'm still not over it. It does hurt a little bit, but, I mean, it doesn't get much better than this, does it?
Angelina Kelly there, not speaking to fans, but standing next to something that we're never going to get our hands on. The World Cup trophy. Like, literally, that's like the last thing I wanted to see.
I know.
It was the World Cup trophy.
So close, yet so far, Angelina.
Yeah, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, punch it.
Yeah.
Throw it.
You don't need to tell us how close we were to actually getting our hands on a World Cup trophy. We're very aware of it. Yeah, she's just the wrong side of the glass. And it's a long way away now. And as long as Argentina don't get their hands on it,
Definitely not going to watch the game tonight.
No, of course I won't watch it. It's called principle, Jamie. Principle. I'm boycotting this fixture out of principle. I think it's a disgrace that we're playing it. Also, what kind of fixture is this? It's a losers' playoff, isn't it?
Yeah, no, of course it is. It's ridiculous.
It's a losers' playoff.
No one wants to be there.
No, the players don't want to play this, do they?
No, of course it
There's
is.
no way that Jude Bellingham is buzzing for this fixture. He just wants to go on holiday with his family, I imagine.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly inconvenient to everyone. No, I've got no interest whatsoever. The only good thing will be if Thomas Tuchel announces his resignation afterwards. If that happens, I'd stay up and watch it. And then I'll crack open a bottle of Runar.
Let's go to Gary. He's a Leeds fan. All right, Gaz?
Hiya, mate.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, I'm really disappointed about England.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. You know what I mean? End of the day, they scored a goal, they were winning, and then they just shut up shop. 20 minutes to go. What happened? And then, I won't mind, they were 15 yards away from every player in their own half. Harry Kane, sorry, brilliant goal scorer, brilliant. Didn't do nothing for the last two games. Sorry, mate. Jude Bellingham, what a player, got him out. Jude Spence didn't do well for Leeds, yeah? You know, we sent him back, but what a player. What a tournament.
Yeah, he done well in the, especially like with the critics around him. I thought he had a really good tournament. Spence.
Exactly. Even I thought, I thought, why is he going? But he actually shocks me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Made me eat my own words. But like you say, England, I can't believe it.
Gary, would you sack Thomas Tuchel?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good man. Clearly a very wise man.
Gary, I'm gonna put you down for a minute because I want to ask Rory a question. One, it's on my mind. We were talking in the break about mentality of players, and you said that Harry Kane is too nice, but Jude Bellingham isn't.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like when we was talking about Argentina, the way they walked out, the national anthem, the way they played, the attitude that they had. Do you think that we're a bit soft?
We are a very soft nation, and I think it's coming out in our football team. Like, even if you look at the reaction to the way that Argentina won. Now, I'm gutted with the result, but to be totally frank, I don't really have an issue with the way that they won. You know that little ginger bloke that charged on the pitch at the end, the substitute?
Yeah, Barker or something.
Barker, you're right. He charged on the pitch. Everybody's getting really upset about that. I would love that to be an England player. I would love us to score against them, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Kobe Mainoo comes celebrating in the opposition's face. You know when Anthony Gordon scored? If Kobe Mainoo charged on the pitch, just totally encapsulated by emotion, so much emotion that he couldn't help it, charged on the pitch and celebrated in front of Christian Romero, I would love it. I all found it all a bit delicate. They fouled us. So what? Yeah, they fouled us. Yeah, they did. Like, I saw a clip of Romero celebrating like a nutter in front of Gahey. Gahey sort of flinches out the way. He's right to celebrate like a nutter. It's a victory over one of your oldest football rivals. if you think about, do you know, I saw a clip and it was actually, again, it's with hindsight, but it's actually when you kind of knew that we weren't going to win. When England players are walking out onto the pitch, there's a clip of them. They're walking out, and like lots of players have got headphones in. They've got their headphones in. They're on their phones, taking pictures, videoing themselves walking out onto the pitch, and you think they're happy to be there. You know, it's good for them. You saw Argentina then come out, and not a phone in their hand. They just all sprint onto the pitch, point to prove, work to be done. They sprint out there, and then you look at the national anthems. You know, some of our players are kind of humming along. They're up for it, but they're kind of humming along. Then you look at the way that the Argentine side barked out the national anthem. There was a lack of passion from us, and there was an abundance of passion from them. Ultimately, losing wasn't an option for them. It feels like we were happy to kind of go down with a whimper in the end. And obviously, the manager has set the tone there.
Do you think that's a mentality problem that British football have or English football has?
I think we're slightly weak, aren't we? Like mentally, we are slightly weak, and you've seen that. Like the fact that we went 1-0 up against Brazil in 2002, lost. 1-0 up against Croatia in 2018, lost. 1-0 up against Italy in 2021, lost. 1-0 up against Argentina, lost. There is a running theme here, isn't there? That we're mentally weak, mentally fragile. And I mean, I feel like there should be more desperation to win. But, you know, that patriotism, how patriotic can you be when you've got a German manager? How much patriotism can a German manager instill in an English team? Like, that's why I'm so keen on the English, on the next England manager, which hopefully comes along very soon, being English. You know, I had an argument with your old mucker, Mr. Cundy, because I was saying, and he went to the extreme to try and make me look foolish, which is what he does. You might have seen him do that, right? He went to the extreme, right? And he was, we were talking about who should be the next England manager, and I said it has to be English for various reasons. And he went, so you'd say no to Guardiola? And I was like, well, kind of yes, I would say no to Guardiola, because the point is it has to be an Englishman, in my opinion. It has to be English. We have 100 years of World Cups, 100 years of data to learn from. Nobody's ever won it with a foreign manager. Brazil have tried this tournament with Ancelotti, went out with a whimper. We've tried, went out with a whimper. Like, why are we ignoring 100 years worth of history that teaches you to go with it? And Cundy was like, so you say no to Guardiola? I was like, well, yeah, I would. Because if you think about what Tuchel is doing in that dressing room, to try and make these lads up for it, winning for England. Like, Thomas Tuchel probably wanted Germany to win the World Cup, didn't he? It would be mental, in fact. In fact, hang on a minute. Thomas Tuchel obviously wanted Germany to win the World Cup. Like, you know, if you offered me the Germany job, I'd take it, especially if you offered me the money he's on. I'd take it, and I'd go, come on, Germany. But obviously I want England to win the World Cup. It would be nuts if I didn't. I think Tuchel, how patriotic can you be when you're playing for a manager that isn't even English?
I have to say, I felt like when I watched Argentina, in terms of their mentality to win, Scaloni on the side, you know, like when they scored the second goal, it's like he wanted to cry his eyes out. Like the passion was filling up in him. The players as well, the way they react and the way they are, it is like winning at all costs. Like, defeat is not acceptable.
No.
It's not acceptable.
No.
And I feel like maybe we are a bit soft. Maybe we have got a bit of a soft underbelly, but I have to pull you up on the Pep Guardiola one.
But
like, I would.
But
like,
just
you can't
the principle. So
you
Guardiola,
can't tell me that Pep Guardiola. Okay, here's Lampard or Guardiola.
in this circumstance, it would be Lampard, because it has to be an English manager. Like, I'm not for 1 second here, Jay. Like, I know you're looking like despairingly at me. I'm not for 1 second saying that at the moment I believe Frank Lampard is a greater manager than Pep Guardiola. I obviously don't think that. I think Guardiola is the second best manager in world football. Luis Enrique is the best manager in world football.
Yeah.
I don't want Luis Enrique either. I don't want Luis Enrique. In the way that if you asked an Argentinian who the best manager is in world football, he'd say Luis Enrique. He wouldn't want him to be the Argentine manager, because there is a very particular set of skills that is needed that I just don't think you can have unless you understand the nation. And Thomas Tuchel, ultimately, he would have been more upset when Paraguay dumped Germany out than when Argentina.
Would Pep get to the final, though, if he was the England manager?
Well, history has taught us no. History has taught us that a foreign manager doesn't win the World Cup.
Would Pep have made that decision, though, to take off Anthony Gordon?
Pep Guardiola would almost definitely get it right, no doubt, managerially. But, you know, Carlo Ancelotti is one of the greatest managers to have ever lived. ever. Like what he did at Chelsea, even just here. You know, he's a serial European Cup winner. He's won the domestic trophy in 5 major leagues. He's won it as a player. Like he's a football man, an icon. He made a pig's ear of the Brazil job. You know, it does go wrong even when you're elite, and there is no doubt that Carlo Ancelotti is elite. Even when you are elite, it can still go wrong in these circumstances.
Did you think it has to be some sort of nation pride
mentality
and patriotism
Yeah.
to be in the manager?
How can Thomas
and the
Tuchel-
team and mentality?
Like we would have had a situation when Paraguay beat Germany, like the England players would have been like, I hope the gaffer's all right. It's nuts. It's nuts. Like, he can't have ever, when he was young, he can't have ever wanted England to win a World Cup, ever. And suddenly he gets a job, so he says he wants it. I just think that it should be in English. Like, it's weird, isn't it? Because this, to me, feels like such an uncontroversial opinion. I think the England manager should be English. I think the Italian manager should be Italian. I think the Spanish manager should be Spanish. And yet when I say it, people go, are you insane? I'm like, no, I'm right. Is the rest of the world insane? I think that the England manager should be picked from what we can offer. And it kind of comes down to...
Okay, who would be your next England manager?
I think you certainly interview Eddie Howe. But even if that sounds underwhelming to you, it would be like going...
It's not underwhelming.
No, but even if you were to...
If they interviewed Eddie Howe and Pep Guardiola, I'd want Pep Guardiola.
See, I don't even think Pep Guardiola should get an interview. Because I think what international football should be... What is international football in your mind? In my mind, international football, and this is why I love it. I love what it represents. International football is a representation of the best of what we can offer versus the best of what they can offer, and we go for it. So the best of us is Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane and Mark Gahey and Anthony Gordon. That's what we've got. And then Eddie Howe. The best of what we can offer isn't Thomas Tuchel. Tuchel is the best of what we can afford, not the best of what we've produced. And therefore, I think it just has to be from within.
Okay. All right, you can have your say on that. Give us a call, 03 717 22 33
I wasn't overly enamoured with what we were doing anyway. I've spoken freely on this marvellous channel that we're on, and, you know, on talkSPORT regularly, and said, look, it's not as good as what everyone was making out, I didn't think, you know, and that's nothing against the manager, Thomas Tuchel, nothing at all. It's just that I didn't think, you know, I wasn't thinking we were blowing teams away and we were purring, but we were finding a way, and that's equally fair to say. That's a brilliant thing to have, of course, if you're not playing brilliantly, but you're winning games. Now, that's a great habit. We all know that. So I don't think I was too... I try to give balance to my comments about these things, and I didn't think we were magnificent anyway. There was a lot of talk about this feel, and how the feel was better. I wasn't having that bit. I was going, oh, come on, do me a favour. And I've spoken freely on, I think it was with Simon and Jim about, you know, Gareth's time, and they were sort of suggesting I was supporting him because I'm his mate and all that. I wasn't. I was just calling it how I think it was. I don't think there was radical change. I had a big debate with Simon about it on their show and said, look, I don't think there is radical change. Simon was saying there is, and he's a master tactician and that's fine, by the way. I've got no problem with people's comments because we're here now talking about it. But I did say on that show, I did say to Simon, I said, Simon, there's nothing radically changed here. You know, if you cut through the noise and you go, in balance to that side of it, which I have been intrigued with, is I do think this is the best opportunity we've had, certainly in my lifetime, I think it's the best opportunity we've ever had to win the World Cup. Not because we're amazing, but because the other superpowers are not as superpowered as what they were. France were flying. I think we're all shocked by that one because they were the ones who you thought, right, okay, they're what we think they should be, apart from their last game. And equally, you know, you look at them and they are superpowered. And yet, you look at their last game and you go, what just happened there? So it is the World Cup. It's not easy to win a World Cup. Everyone sort of suggests it is, but it's not.
You are listening to the World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. We'll speak to Ben Jacobs just after 8 on Morgan Rogers' proposed £117 million deal to Chelsea. Time now, though, for another update. Gabby Parkinson is watching for talkSPORT.
Yeah, well, it's no news to you that Sam Burns is leading the Open Championship, but now he leads by 2 and the first player to actually get to double figures at 10 under par, and that was thanks to a birdie on the 17th. So our leader is in the clubhouse with a 65 for today. Playing partner Bryson DeChambeau also picked one up on the penultimate hole, but has since given one back down the last to finish at 6 under par. In second spot, it's a two-way tie between Ryan Fox and Siwoo Kim. We are approaching the closing stages of round 3, and just looking at the leaderboard, what you do notice is there is a lack of major winners among the leaders. In the top 10, only Bryson DeChambeau's got major pedigree, so it's wide open heading into the final round. Shane Lowry, who's in a tie of 11th, said after his round, anyone inside the top 20 will surely feel like that if they have the round of their lives tomorrow, will feel like they can win the Open Championship. So we shall see. As I mentioned, the last moments remain of round 3, so you can catch the closing stages live on talkSPORT 2.
The Open Championship update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan.
Let's go to Lawrence. He's a Fulham fan. All right, Lawrence? Lawrence? Lawrence?
Jamie?
Hello, mate.
No, don't start, honestly.
Yeah, you only said your name.
I only said your name.
Mate, what are you expecting?
Mate, I remember last time I was on with you, Jamie, I got done up like a kipper.
Oh, did you? Sorry, mate. That's probably Candy.
Yeah, I went viral for the Brazilian parrot sketch. But,
is that you, the parrot?
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Very good, yeah.
saying Lawrence, mate. Yeah, I thought,
Lawrence?
I thought, I'm not having this time. But, yeah. So anyway, I was actually there. I went out for 2 weeks with England. Just the best 2 weeks. But you kind of, it's like watching King Kong, isn't it? It's a great film, but you just know how it's going to end. And in the ground. I mean, that's how it feels watching England, doesn't it? You just know what's coming. When we beat Mexico, they were all grabbing us saying, please beat Argentina for us, please beat Argentina. And we all got a bit humble and we were saying, well, look, we can't promise anything here. We're going to try. But
I felt like there was a genuine belief that we were the better team.
Well, in the morning, you think, right, this feels different. Like, we all thought that, didn't we? This feels different. We've got better players than them. But you can have better players, but there's just stuff on the day that happens. I mean, from the start, England fans are not used to being outnumbered by Argentinians. They were everywhere. They were absolutely everywhere. And, little things like Rory says about, let's stop with the niceties. Our national anthem come on and, in the last 10 years, people respect each other's anthems, don't they? I know it used to be bad. But no, the Argentinians were not having that. They're like, we're not respecting you. We're not respecting anything to do with you. And that
Did we respect theirs, Lawrence?
Well, Rory, if a team boos your anthem out the ground, human nature tells you what's going to happen next.
Right.
But the fact of the matter was, you couldn't even hear the England fans booing. That's how loudly it was sang by the Argentine fans. So,
I know it's such a small thing, right? The national anthem, and it is because I've seen England teams smash out a national anthem and sing it with their chest out and get pumped, right? So, but it did feel like the way they sung the national anthem, the way they approached the game, the first 20 minutes, there was just something about them that we didn't have, something that we don't have.
Yeah, they're there for a fight. We were there for a game of football. They were there for a fight. And, they were not coming off that pitch having lost. There was no way they were going to lose. And it's just I think, Gareth's created a team of nice guys. They're very approachable, great with the media and fans now. And I just saw when they equalised and our guys were looking down at the floor and that little kid Barco come running on. I mean, you hate it, but you think you got to respect. You got to respect the passion, haven't you?
Yeah, that's exactly the way I felt about it. To be honest, as much as I didn't like him, I would have loved one of our subs to come charging on a pitch like that.
They were not going to lose that game, and I wish I'd got the name of the guy next to me. On the 91st minute, he said, "Let them just score and put us out of our misery." Because that's what I felt. I've never been less excited at 1-1. You think in a World Cup semi-final, you're thinking, okay, let's go to extra time. Let's drag out. No, there was none of that. If it had gone to extra time, have you got any doubt what would have been? 4-5-1?
Well, I think we were trying to squeeze ourselves to extra time in the end to then make changes. I believe that Thomas Tuchel tried to crawl over the line after the mistake that he made, that he couldn't rectify in 90 minutes, and he was praying that we got to extra time to then bring on Saka and Rashford and Tony, but they scored. So then he rushed to get on Rashford and Tony, but it was all too late.
There was a crazy moment for me, Lawrence. A crazy moment when we were 1-0 up, and at no point did I think we were going to win the game. We were 1-0 up with 5 to go, and I just thought, say when there was 10 minutes to go, I was like, we're just not going to win this game. You could see it coming a mile off. Everyone could, except for our manager.
It was pretty surreal. It was pretty surreal in the ground. You think one of the best grounds, amazing noise in there, and the England fans were very quiet, even at 1-0 up. And we were just saying, I've seen this movie before. I've seen.
Were they going potty? What was their support like at 1-0 down?
Mate, that's the thing. You don't have to like them, but you've got to respect the passion. You could not hear yourself think for Argentinians bouncing up and down. They are incredible. And they gave it a bit afterwards. I mean, in general, everyone was mixed and it was all right. But there's always going to be little pockets of trouble. But on the whole, they're just fiercely packed. And they come into that game saying, we will die before we lose this one. And I wonder if our players had the same mentality. Harry Kane, lovely bloke, absolute brilliant professional, but do you want, was he the guy to start getting in people's faces or grab his teammates and say, we are not losing this? I didn't see that happening. It may have happened on the quiet, but I didn't see Harry Kane going around dragging people.
I think we've got one player like that, and his name's Jude Bellingham.
Yes.
And you can see how he is, right? And the Argentinians were trying to ruffle him up, but he was right up for the challenge, right? And he didn't have his best game, but I tell you what, mate, he's got something that no one else has got. But I don't know if that's a dying breed in the UK. I don't know.
No, it's a very un-English quality.
I don't think it's. I think it's an un-English quality. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he's got the Real Madrid thing.
Yeah, I get the impression he's not the most popular player in the camp because he calls people out. Sometimes he walks away from the team when they're having a little huddle before the games and stuff. But that's what you want as your captain. You don't want the captain to be your best mate. You want the captain to tell you things firmly and fairly. To say, if you're doing stuff right, if you're doing something like Roy Keane. You know what I mean? I'm sure he wasn't the most popular person to play with, but he was the leader. And if it was in my choice, I'd make Bellingham captain yesterday. I would say we're going in a new direction. And one of the great things Southgate did when he come in, remember he had to get rid of Rooney. And Rooney was at that level like Kane is now, where you can't drop him. You can't. Sometimes you need a new broom to come in, and that's why I'm in the Tuchel out territory, because he's not going to suddenly rock about in the next game and go, you know what, lads, I've had an idea. We're going to play it different. We're going to do this and we're going to do that, and we're going to press high and stuff. He's not going to do that. He's going to stick to his principles like all managers do. So I don't see what's going to happen. And somewhere down the road, we're going to have a 0-0, we're going to lose 1-0 in a friendly, and it's going to get toxic. So this is why, whatever it takes to pay him off, I'm sorry, it's going to cost a lot of money, but I think you need a fresh change. Got England coming up in 2 years, and that is our best chance of ever winning.
No, you're right. You're right.
Not Spain in 4 years' time. If you think we're going to Spain in 4 years' time and rocking up there and beating Spain, Argentina, and all of those teams in the blazing heat of Spain, I just don't see that happening. So it's England or bust in 2 years' time.
Lawrence, you're a star. Great call. Keep them coming in. You can have your say. We've got team news coming up in this hour as well. 03 717 22 33 44. It's 25 minutes. You're
showing
playing
your hand
against
too early.
Argentina,
Showing your hand
and you've
too
just gone, here, there you go.
I'm
Go
so
on, just attack
disappointed.
us. Attack v defence.
Do you know what, Jay? I can't believe I'm having this conversation about Tuchel. I cannot believe I'm having this conversation.
Sack him. Sack him.
It's just rinse and repeat as England, and I don't know whether he looked back on that Mexico game and got drawn into how comfortable he felt. No, Jay, I'm not giving you an answer. I'm trying to find a reason. I'm trying to get into his head. I don't know the answer, Jay. Any more than you. Don't, Jay. I'm trying to find a reason.
But why put Bellingham on the left?
Jay, I don't know.
Why not bring Rashford on?
I don't know.
Why not bring Saka on?
I don't know.
I'm trying to get. What was he thinking?
I don't know.
What's he thinking?
I'm trying to get into Tuchel's head because the lads were dead on their feet. And if you're going to go to 5 at the back, which I kind of understand in one way, I do. But what you need to do is help help the back 5, because if they can't get out, you literally are on the edge of your box, and you can't defend all the time like that. You need pressure on the ball. You need players to get out, and also you need an out ball. We had no out ball. Nothing.
But
I can't believe you said
that's coaching 101. That's literally coaching. We are sat there, 2 donuts, all right, in the Redwood. 2 people that sit on here, all right? We ain't coaches. We know football. He's the top level England manager, and the whole nation can see that we were camped in, and everyone's screaming, "Make a sub, give us an out."
I don't get it, Jay. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand how he couldn't see what we were seeing.
If there's one thing Brazil loves more than samba and sunshine, it's football, or as they call it, futebol. And trust me, this love story goes way back. It all started in 1884, when a young Brazilian named Charles Miller returned from England aged 21, carrying a pair of footballs and a Hampshire FA rulebook. He was basically the original influencer, bringing back trends from abroad. And just like that one mate who insists you have to try their new obsession, Miller convinced everyone to give this little English sport a go. Spoiler alert, it caught on. The entire nation fell head over boots for the game. And fast forward a few decades, it was time for Brazil to start playing in the World Cup. Then came 1958, the year a 17-year-old kid named Pelé showed up and said, "Don't worry, I got this." Brazil won its first World Cup and respectively put down its mark on the global football stage. From there, Brazil kept adding stars to the jersey. 1958, 1962, 1970, 1994, 2002, making it the only country with 5 World Cup titles and the only country to participate in every tournament. Not that they like to brag or anything. Okay, maybe a little. And the style? Pure magic. Jogo bonito, the beautiful game. It became Brazil's signature. Think dazzling footwork, joyful play, and the occasional move that makes you wonder if gravity just took the day off. Today, football isn't just a sport in Brazil. It's part of the national identity. From street games played with anything even slightly round to packed stadiums exploding with colour and noise, Brazil lives and breathes football. So, the next time you see that iconic yellow jersey, just remember, it all started with one guy, 2 footballs, and a nation ready to fall in love.
You are listening to the World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT, brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app. I'm your host, Jamie High, alongside Rory Jennings. We're here till 9. Then it's on to live coverage of England's third-place playoff against France in Miami. England's rugby team also in action tonight. They face Argentina in the Nations Championship. Alfie Reynolds will be watching for talkSPORT.
Yeah, evening, Jamie. 3 days after Argentina broke English hearts in the football, how will the rugby team fare? This is the final match of England's Nations Championship this summer. It resumes again in November. So far, they've won one and lost one. This match ultimately will define how they view this three-game block. Win, and Steve Borthwick can kick on. Lose, and the pressure mounts again on the head coach. Now, despite his side's struggles, especially against top opposition, his record against Argentina is actually really good. He's played 5 and won 5. A late change for England. George Kloska comes onto the bench in place of Asha Opoku Forjaw. The starting team is the same which beat Fiji last weekend. This is going to be tough. It's going to be hostile. In Argentina, it's Los Pumas against England.
Can't wait for that one, that's for sure. It's World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT. Right, Morgan Rogers to Chelsea. He's almost done. £117 million deal. It's come out of absolutely nowhere. Let's get more on this with talkSPORT reporter Ben Jacobs. All right, Ben?
Good evening, guys.
Ben, look, obviously this is a huge talking point. It does feel like it's come out of nowhere. We got a bit of breaking news earlier in the show. Morgan Rogers to Chelsea.
Yeah, so this is all agreed in principle, and Rodgers is set to undergo a medical on Monday. The deal is worth $117 million. That's a significant number because it's $1 million more than Elliot Anderson's move from Nottingham Forest to Manchester City. So Villa vindicated, even though they're not, of course, identical positions in any way, shape or form, in using this inflated market and pointing to the fact that that is the valuation, even though 12 months or so ago, suitors felt like 80 million might be a realistic starting point. And Chelsea, as we revealed on talkSPORT in February and again in March, were always in this race, but it was Arsenal that were working on a deal. They felt like they had time, and they never in the end got to the point of placing a bid, which was anticipated after the World Cup, because in the last 24 to 48 hours, Chelsea have moved under the radar. So maybe we can kind of call it a pre-hijack, because usually you say hijack when one team is close or one team is bidding and another comes in at the last minute. But Chelsea moved before Arsenal even placed a formal bid, even though they were working on terms with the player. And Morgan Rogers sold ultimately on Chelsea by Xabi Alonso, but also, I'm told, Badad Eghbali, the majority owner, on behalf of Clearlake Capital. And the pitch from Arsenal and Chelsea relatively similar, in the sense that my understanding is that Chelsea want Rogers as position 1, a starting left winger who obviously can play equally as impressively at number 10. But the expectation is Cole Palmer at 10 and then Morgan Rogers over on that left-hand side. And it's a fantastic signing for Chelsea. And it's one that, let's not forget, surpasses the biggest transfer of the summer in terms of valuation so far.
Ben, I agree. I think it's a brilliant signing. He's a great player. He's exactly what we need. We're desperate for reinforcements over there. He can play in multiple positions. It's so good for so many reasons. What I'm thinking, though, is the money. 170 million is a lot of money. Do you think this means that we know that we have a suitor for Enzo Fernandez?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily linked to Enzo Fernandez, because Chelsea have entered into a new financial year. And part of the challenge, perhaps, was in making sure that they got through that last cycle of PSR and were under financial fair play. They've still got the UEFA settlement, don't forget, so any future breaches could always result potentially in some of the suspended punishments being removed. But then if you think like Tottenham Hotspur, heading into the next cycle and the next financial year, no financial fair play for Chelsea within that cycle. It doesn't mean if there's any historical breaches or anything on the last cycle or the last financial year that they still can't be punished, but there's more rope to work with under squad cost ratio comparative to PSR. And in this first year of squad cost ratio, teams that are not in an FFP cycle can spend 85% of their total revenue on transfer-related costs, but then you can go a further 30% above that without any significant penalties, because it's the first year and it's a transitional one. So I don't think that this is a clue that Enzo Fernandez is definitely leaving. But if the player finds a club and Chelsea's £120 million valuation is met, then that sale will be sanctioned. But Chelsea are just as comfortable in football and financial terms with Enzo Fernandez staying. And if he stays and the window shuts, then you would think that all parties would move towards a contract extension. So I'm not so sure we should link Rodgers and Chelsea's finances specifically to an Enzo Fernandez exit. And don't forget, if they need sales, they've got Alejandro Garnacho, who's almost certainly going to go on some kind of permanent deal. One of Nicholas Jackson or Liam Delap is likely to be sold as well. Trevor Chalobah and Como and also Inter in talks, and Chelsea would like about £35 million there. Malo Gusto has a question mark over his future as well. So if Chelsea did need to bring in money, whether financially or just ultimately for squad space and wage space, they've got other players that they could sell, and they could still, I think, comfortably bring in £100 million or more through a series of other cumulative sales if they choose to go in that direction.
Okay, Jared Bowen has committed his future to West Ham. Was there any concrete interest in him, or has he just said, right, that's it, I'm gonna stay here and be a Championship player?
This was really refreshing because Jared Bowen said to suitors that he wanted to speak to West Ham first and hear their pitch before deciding whether he was going to entertain interest, especially from the Premier League. A lot's been made in the past in terms of old windows of Everton interest because of David Moyes, and Newcastle were definitely there at one point in time, particularly last summer. But Bowen never had a concrete offer because he told interested parties, wait, and then he flew out to the Czech Republic. He spoke to the West Ham hierarchy and he decided to make an amendment to his existing contract. And effectively, that amendment doesn't add any length, but what it does is say 2026, 2027, Bowen is committed. If at the end of this season, West Ham are in the Premier League, Bowen gets a wage hike. If they're still in the Championship, there's a release clause allowing him then to depart. So this is a player that's decided to be loyal to West Ham. He was affected by their relegation, and Bowen has decided to stay. And as I say, there was never really a counter offer because out of respect to West Ham United, Bowen wanted to hear them out. He was persuaded by the pitch, and then he decided that he was going to stay. But of course, it's not stay forever. So if they can't get promoted to the Premier League, then it becomes highly likely in summer 2027 he will depart.
Ben, Jed Spence, man of the moment, he's linked with a move away from Tottenham. Who's interested in him, and what sort of valuation can Tottenham expect?
Yeah, I think valuation-wise, it's going to be very interesting. There's no price tag over his head at this point because Spurs, like with Lucas Bergvall, are not desperate to sell. But if the player returns and speaks to Roberto De Zerbi and realises he's not going to start every single week, Tottenham will not stand in his way. And that's where we're at the moment. His stock has only risen at the World Cup. So any numbers heading into the World Cup versus after, you would think again, and in an inflated market, the latter post-World Cup will see Spurs add 5, maybe even 10 million onto the total amount. So it has to be good business for Spurs to sanction this. There's two clubs in particular that are interested. One is Everton and the other is Inter. And Spence has been focused on the World Cup, but when he returns, first talks will take place between Spurs and Spence and De Zerbi in particular. And then it is believed that Tottenham are open to an exit. So it's one to keep an eye on between now and the end of the window.
Okay, Ben, you're a star. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That's Ben Jacobs there. We're going to continue taking your calls on England. They do build up to the game tonight against France, but we are taking calls on the manager, Harry Kane. Should it be an England manager in charge? Rory doesn't want Pep Guardiola. You can have your say. 03717 22 3344.
We've been talking all morning about Thomas Tuchel. We've been talking all week about him and the fact that he's questioned England's DNA, whatever that may be. He said, I think ball possession plays a crucial role. It's maybe not in our DNA as it is in the Spanish or Brazilian or Argentinian DNA. To take the ball and control the game and the ball, which is a big problem. What do you make of that, Ben?
Watching the Spain game the other night against France, that's how you keep the ball. And I think it comes down to bravery. We've got the players to do it, we've got the ability to do it, but it comes down to bravery. And I think once them England players put that shirt on, when it comes to the crunch moments, that's the bit that is lacking a little bit. We've definitely got the ability to do it. We've got the players to be able to do it. You watch Spain, and when they went 2-0 up, even when they were 1-0 up, they just kept doing it. You've got Fabian Ruiz and Rodri in the central midfield. At one point, they're playing two-touch over the French midfield. They're keeping the ball nice and calm. And I'm just thinking,
they had a good structure as well, though.
Really good structure, but they're drilled on it. And there's a lot of people saying, well, why can't we be drilled on it?
You've got to want the ball as well.
You've got to want it, but it's bravery, isn't it?
It is.
And bravery comes in a load of different forms. People think bravery might be a Dan Burn getting his head, and it is a form of bravery, but when it comes to the crunch moments, it's that calmness under pressure in the big calm moments where you've got to go, right, just woof, woof. And I think Argentina a bit, look at Messi, see how calm he is, and I think that filters through the team as well.
Yeah, he can carry you out of trouble, Messi, can't he? Give him the ball, he carries it up the pitch, he takes the pressure on. That's what we were lacking as well, just an individual who just could carry it up.
Oh, it'd be lovely to have one of them. One or two of them at home, I think.
I think it's bit unfair, he took Gordon off, and I think Gordon's grown into the tournament, I thought, because he had a lot going on at the beginning, which I spoke of, because with the move and all that sort of stuff, a lot to handle, if you like. But I think he's grown into it.
You are listening to the World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. England's rugby team, like the football boys, are ahead in Argentina. Let's get the details with talkSPORT's Alfie Reynolds.
Yeah, 5 minutes gone. Argentina 0, England 5. Tommy Freeman with the opening try of the game. It was a really well-worked score from England, who've started well in the early exchanges. Their attack had slowed down. It was then a switch between Jack Van Poortvliet and Finn Smith. And Finn Smith spotted his Northampton Saints teammate on the right wing, put a little kick in. Freeman collected it and scored the try. And it all kicked off after that as well. I tell you what, I think there's a little bit of spice that is... been a bit of a hangover from the football the other night, actually, because it started with a real pace, real vigour in this game. Early exchanges, 6 minutes gone. Argentina 0, England 5.
Yeah, I hope you go and slap them. Give them a right old kick in.
Yeah, we know how it ends. England are winning, and we know what the story.
Yeah, we're going to sit off and we're going to get beat. Yeah. I hope that ain't the case. I hope them rugby boys go and give them a right old pasting.
Yeah.
They ain't going to mess about. And for the last time today, we can head to Royal Birkdale and get an open update. Gabby Partington.
Yeah, what a day it's been out on the links. We've had drama, another record equalling round at a major, and now a new man to catch at the very top. Sam Burns is into double figures for the first time this week. The target is now 10 under par, and he takes a two-shot lead over Ryan Fox and Siwoo Kim into Sunday. Bryson DeChambeau is in a tie of 6, that's 6 under par, alongside Ludwig Oberg, and open debutant Jackson Suba, who continues to impress, actually. His first taste of links golf, and he's handled it brilliantly. Tommy Fleetwood will begin the final round 4 shots back, with what feels like the whole of Southport rooting for him. You can join us from 9 a.m. tomorrow live on talkSPORT 2 as the final chapter unfolds, and by the end of the day we'll know who will be crowned champion golfer of the year.
The Open Championship update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Choose from over 20,000 used cars online and score your dream car today.
Back to your phone lines in just a moment. We heard from Donald Trump questioning Thomas Tuchel's use of Harry Kane. Here's what Tuchel said in response.
Have you been surprised by the strength of feeling since going out? I mean, even President Trump weighing in on your substitutions earlier on today.
President Trump weighed in and said in his message that he doesn't know anything about coaching, and I think he proved the point. that's basically it. I just know about the criticism because I get messages and from friends and people who actually loved the English team watching, and they are worried. So I never read praise and I never read criticism. It just does not make sense. I try to help my team and try to do this on a daily basis on the highest level. I did this in the match because I trusted my instinct, I trusted my intuition, I trusted my experience, and I trusted my competitiveness and the analyzing of the match. So I took some decisions. If you lose, they are all wrong. That's just the nature of it. That's the nature of the world in sports. The game is more complex than offensive and defensive. The game is more complex than just a structure, and that means that you're defending and another structure you're attacking. So that's just something I have to accept, and I will not engage in it.
Can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did you see that where he tries to be a bit snide and says, oh yeah, he proved that he knows nothing about coaching? Well, what did you prove on the night, Thomas? What did you prove on the night about your understanding of being a decent manager? You had Argentina exactly where you want them, and you managed to shoot yourself in the foot. You had them perfectly where you want them. You were in the ascendancy. It was managed perfectly. We managed to get ourselves, our noses in front, and there was half an hour left. What did you do? You made an absolute pig's ear of it. And then off the back of that, when you're asked, you just give those normal platitudes that mean nothing. You know those things that sound like you're saying a lot, but you're actually saying nothing?
Yeah.
I take full responsibility. Okay, what does that actually mean? What does that actually look like? Taking full responsibility would mean offering your resignation, wouldn't it? If you actually take full responsibility for England's defeat against one of our biggest footballing rivals, probably our biggest footballing rival, in those circumstances, if you do take full responsibility, you should offer your resignation. Now, maybe it won't be accepted, but if you are actually serious about taking full responsibility, you should offer it to the FA. But you won't do that because you're a fraud and a charlatan, and ultimately, you're here for the money. That's what it is. He is a mercenary. We have appointed a mercenary. He doesn't passionately want to manage England. He doesn't even support England. He is there because of the money. He would go anywhere for the money. You offer him money, he'll go and do the job. That's why he's the England manager. And I can't believe that we want someone in the job for those reasons. Like, whatever you think about Gareth Southgate's limitations, and by the way, they feel very similar to Tuchel's. Southgate was patriotic. He loved the country. He was desperate for England to win, and he did his best. What we've seen from Tuchel is just abject, pathetic, and the sooner he's out of the job, the better.
Strong words from Rory there. Let's go to Nick. He's an Arsenal fan. Nick?
Hi. I couldn't agree with Rory more, because this guy is just mugging us off. I don't want to hear anything about academies. I don't want to hear anything about Harry Kane. I don't want to hear anything about national anthem. It just boils down to, in that particular moment, we had a man in charge who could not think clearly under pressure. And why the FA has still got him in a job, I do not know. He shouldn't have to offer his resignation. The FA should just sack him. Why do we need to? Why do we need to offer?
Well, he's
his
still
resignation?
All America. Yeah. He's got another game. He's got a game in an hour.
Should have been sacked before this.
Listen. It doesn't matter. Look at all the other teams that have gone out of this competition. Have they still got their manager, or have their managers disappeared? All the managers. Think about all the managers that have been sacked throughout this competition. Why have we still got ours? Let's be right here, right? And I think some people are missing the point. He didn't think clearly under pressure. At one stage, that game was actually 1-1. Why didn't he make changes at 1-1? Why did it have to go to 2-1? I know momentum was there, but he could have actually changed the momentum at 1-1. We all think
I think he'd sunk into the fact that we were camped in, and I don't think and I think the changes that he would have potentially tried to make once they scored wouldn't have changed the outcome, because the change that he made with Anthony Gordon and Konsa set the tone of how that game was going to end. We were camped in.
And I get that, but he made changes at 2-1. He made positive changes at 2-1.
Yeah, that's desperation. It's desperation.
Yeah, exactly. But we was actually crying out for something before it went to 1, before it was like 1-1. And when he had an opportunity at 1-1, he still did nothing. So we got to remember that game just didn't suddenly magically appear to be 2-1. There was a process. He made wrong substitutions, which took us to 1-1, and he also didn't do nothing at 1-1. We're only talking about it as if we lost. And there was a part of that game where we weren't losing. Yeah? So for me, he showed a lack of clarity that was required in the moment, and that is why we hired him. The guy has shown us who he is. We don't need to see any more. That is who he is.
All right, Nick, listen, great call. No, great call, Nick. Thank you. Let's go to Mark. He's an England fan. Mark. Mark?
Hi, guys.
Hello, mate.
Hello?
Yeah, Mark, go on. How are you?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point.
Go for it.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to make a point to Rory. I'm listening to the call. I'm listening to the show. Great show, by the way. But I don't think it's got anything to do with Tuchel being a German. We keep saying we don't. It's because he's German, and we don't. And we keep mentioning the fact that he's German. It's just rank poor coaching. It doesn't matter whether he's English or German. It's just poor coaching. What happened on Wednesday night? Poor decision making, lack of leadership, poor coaching.
Yeah, I think it was poor coaching, but I also think that the England manager should be English. I think that the next manager should be English. What do you think?
Yeah, but I can kind of see that. You know, but at the same time, it doesn't really. It wouldn't have made a difference on Wednesday night. He just made really bad choices. I coach under-16 football. I wouldn't coach my lads to do that.
You know, he made bad decisions.
Never mind an international level coach.
No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Look, bringing on Dan Burn was just an example of poor coaching. You're absolutely right. Bringing on Konza, an example of poor coaching. But I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about the unity in the camp. I'm talking about everything that is needed in order to win a tournament. That is going to be better served by somebody who is English. Their first language is English. They're going to have a rapport with the players because they're English. They're going to know what the expectations of the country are because they're English. They're going to have an understanding of... Thomas Tuchel is German. He would have wanted Germany to win the World Cup. It's mental to pretend otherwise.
I don't necessarily agree. If
he doesn't, he's a mercenary.
And they use... I agree with that point that he's there because of the money. I do understand that. But if he is allegedly an elite coach, it shouldn't matter where he's from. What was found wanting was not his nationality; it was his coaching ability. That was what was found wanting.
I think a lot of where it went wrong. I think a lot of where it went wrong, the decision making, the team selection. I think it all comes down to not having a grasp and not being in tune with the fans. Gareth Southgate managed to unify the country in a very different way to what Tuchel's.
Yeah, but to caveat that, the fact that Thomas Tuchel was German really takes away that whole feeling of what we've had in the past, where the England manager comes under so much pressure and comes under so much because he knows how big it is. He knows what it means to the English fans and the English people. That's why we hired a German to take that kind of pressure away.
But I want that pressure.
There's an argument.
Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
There's an argument to say he's more objective. Sorry, there's an argument to say he should be, and I think this is why he was hired, to be more objective because he's not English.
But you don't want... being objective isn't always a good thing. Being tribal, being desperate, being passionate.
I get that, but what I'm saying is the real thing that was wrong was that he made the wrong tactical decisions.
Yeah,
agreed. You could argue, Rory, that the players have that. You could argue that the players have that tribalism, that passion, but some of them didn't then show. Harry Kane did not lead the team in that second half.
No, but it starts with the manager, doesn't it? Look, in terms of England versus Argentina on the night, you're right. The decision making by the manager was done by poor managerial decision making and nothing other than that. What I'm saying is, throughout the game, Argentina were hungrier. They were more desperate. They wanted to win more. They were more desperate to make sure that they didn't lose. Losing was not an option. That is instilled from who? Scaloni. When they won the game, Scaloni was in tears. That must filter down into the team. When England lost, was Tuchel in tears? Does it affect him, apart from his pay bonus?
But I understand that, and let me just caveat my statement by saying I'm with you. I think Tuchel should be sacked. I think he should have been sacked after the game. I don't think he should be the England manager. So just let me caveat my point by that. But what I would equally say is there was only, as watching that game on Wednesday night, one player who showed truly that drive and that true disappointment that we didn't go through. and that was Jude Bellingham. The rest of them, whilst they huffed and puffed and worked hard, I didn't see that lion's roar that you saw from Jude Bellingham. I didn't, the fact that he was caught open-mouthed, sort of commenting on Pickford's inability to save that goal shows you how disappointed he was in his own teammates. The rest of them didn't show that. Dan Burn came out and defended Tuchel's tactics, and I don't get that, right? I don't get that. So much as I agree, Tuchel doesn't have that English hunger. Quite a lot of the players didn't either.
Yeah. All right, Mark, listen.
Great call, Mark. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, very good call. Keep your calls coming in. We are crossing over to Miami. We're going to be speaking to Faye Carruthers next.
To go, mate. I'm sorry, Jeff. Like, when we are paying £8 million for a foreign coach to come in and win us our first trophy since 1966, and that's what he does in a semi-final for an Argentinian side that were there for the taking, and to do what he did 10 times worse than anything Southgate's ever done negatively, I'm sorry, he has to go, mate. Simple as that. The FA have to make a decision, and I just didn't like his interview, the arrogance of his interview. No regrets. Yes, you have got regrets, mate. You've got regrets. There was loads of trouble after the game across the country. Everyone was together. And that's on you, Thomas Tuchel. That's on you. The negativity, cowardly tactics. You can't blame the players. I'm hearing people say, Jeff, that, the players on the pitch have got to make decisions. There's some experience. No, you listen to your coach. Your coach tells you to play a certain formation. You listen to him.
Yeah.
He has to go. Simple as that. No foreign coach ever won the World Cup. Maybe for a reason. We've given it a go now again with a foreign coach, and that's what he's done.
I mean, Alan here has just tested the same sort of thing you were saying. So Tuchel's shortcomings have been exposed. What about the players' shortcomings? Well, look, the players, we've got 6 defenders on. We've got 4 central defenders on at the end for the cross that Messi puts into Laura Martinez. So, yes, I get that. But ultimately, the can has to be carried by the coach, especially with the negativity. I mean, look, everybody said this, but the negative. Anthony Gordon is flying. We scored a brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. You'll have loved, the fact that Kane, Declan Rice, who's soon to come off as well, Morgan Rogers, and a lovely finish to Anthony Gordon. And Gordon's feeling 10 feet tall, so what do we do? Oh, we'll take him off.
You are listening to the World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT, brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in the box every time. Order now on the BK app. I'm Jamie Hart. Rory Jennings alongside me in around 25 minutes. It's over to Miami for live coverage of France v England. We can head there now. Speak to Faye Carruthers, talkSPORT's England correspondent. All right, Faye.
Hello, how you both doing?
Oh, Faye. We've been in turmoil for the last few days. How's it been out there?
Yeah, same. I was in a bit of a grump for a while, but then I went down by the ocean yesterday, had a walk on the beach, put it all in perspective and thought, do you know what? Another semi-final is really impressive. It was really difficult that night against Argentina. The tactics that they employed in the first half, I think you've probably heard me on air saying I don't enjoy watching that kind of football, the housery that was on display. And then the second half, we just looked absolutely exhausted. And, that's from the Azteca, the extra time against Norway. And then, of course, the tactics that Thomas Tuchel deployed, which I know have had a lot of criticism.
Have you noticed the despondency in the squad in any dealings that you've had, a despondency in Tuchel? Does it feel a lot flatter than it has done over the past few weeks that you've been out there, Faye?
Oh, without a doubt. It's going to take them a long time to get over this. The players have just been out on the pitch here at Miami Stadium. Hands jammed in pockets. Normally they're kind of, chatting and laughing and kind of looking around, waving at fans. There are hardly any fans in here. In fact, I'm at the England end, which would usually be absolutely laden with flags all the way over, and I could actually only see 6 behind the goal. I think a lot of people have just gone home. This isn't the kind of game that the players don't want to play in it. The coaches don't want to work for it, but they're professional. They know they have to. They're picking themselves up in order to do it. None of us really want to report on it, which sounds really, ungrateful, because I'm standing here in Miami behind Jordan Pickford's goal, about to report on England. But none of us want to be here. It's we all want to be in New York, and that hasn't happened. So you have to pick yourselves up, go positive, and try and end this tournament on a high, because actually I know that the last 48 hours have been really negative, flat, disappointing, but it hasn't been like that the whole tournament. We've been on this wave again. People were getting excited, but the belief was there that we could go all the way. So I just think we've got to try and put in a performance against France, which is going to be tricky, and try and end the tournament on a high.
Faye, I've got a few more questions for you, but we can bring in Nigel Adderley now. He's got the team news.
Yes, good evening, Jamie. Interesting team news for England, very interesting. 7 changes in total from the semi-final. Mark Gahey, Jed Spence, Declan Rice and Morgan Rogers keep their place in the team. So there is no Jordan Pickford, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, Reece James, John Stone, Elliot Anderson or Anthony Gordon. Dean Henderson comes in to make his first appearance in this World Cup in goal. There are also first starts for Eberechi Eze and Ivan Toney. He will lead the attack. Jarrell Quansah is also back from his 2-match ban following the red card against Mexico. Bukayo Saka starts along with Marcus Rashford either side of Toney, and Ezri Konsa also comes into the back 4. So 7 changes for England, 7 changes for France as well, but both Kylian Mbappe and Michael Olise are starting for them.
OK, thanks, Nigel. Faye, look, obviously the team news there, we've seen the changes. We do look knackered. How has Thomas Tuchel been around the camp? Because I know you're there, and I know you're around the team. There has been uproar over here over the decisions he's made, and we've all seen his comments saying that he's kind of doubled down on it. But there must be a part of him who regrets the decision that he made to make them changes in that Argentina game.
He says no. I've asked him 3 times now, and he was asked in the press conference as well yesterday, and he says no. And I almost understand why he says no, because what benefit is there of saying yes? He thought that he made the changes that were going to win us the game, and he saw what had happened to the players after we scored. We just retreated. We're defending very deep, difficult to get out of our own half, and he let them try and solve the problems themselves. And they couldn't solve the problems themselves, so he tried to do it for them. And, I've read various analytical pieces on why he may have done what he did, and I've listened to Andros Townsend's explanation of it as well. And actually, I agree. In the moment, I was really shocked, and I did not understand why he was doing that. But I did say to him post-match, I'm not a football coach, and I know you have been, but Rory, you're not a football coach either. And I think sometimes it's really, really easy to put yourself in somebody's shoes and think you know what you would do if you were in them, but you've never actually walked it. And you've never actually been in that position. And he has enough experience and nous and knowledge and, knows the players better than we will ever know them.
But it was wrong. It was wrong. No humility from him at all. It was incorrect.
Well, there was some humility, actually. He said, I take the responsibility. I think it's really easy because we're all still angry to ignore the fact that he said that. because he's not saying he regrets the decisions he makes. I remember speaking to a coach years and years ago, and being told you made the decision that you thought was right at the time, so you can't regret most of the decisions you make in life because you made what you thought was right at the time. So I understand why he's not saying
he may not regret them. I regret them. I regret the decisions he made.
I mean, we all do. Because,
but he doesn't.
We all want to be in the final. Well, he would want to be in the final as well, but he's, as he said to me, and look, I'm reporting what he has directly said to me. He said I could have put on 3 strikers and would have had the same outcome. And then I'd have been criticised for that.
I know, but Faye, we didn't want that.
Can I just say one thing? Can I say one thing though, Jamie? Can I say one thing? Because we would all in this position, however we lost that final, we would find some level of criticism. We feel the need to blame somebody for it. He talked about it in the press conference yesterday. He understands the need for the blame game. I think he was, frustrated about the blame game.
It's actually not true, though. We don't need to blame someone. We're blaming someone because we pressed the self-destruct button. If we'd gone out valiantly, if we'd been unlucky, if they were just far too good for us, I think we would have taken it very well. We wouldn't have been looking... We weren't trying to blame anyone after 2018. We weren't trying to blame anyone.
But we didn't expect to get to the semi-finals in 2018, with all due respect. And that was something else that Thomas Tuchel said that I found quite interesting, actually. He said France, Spain and Argentina expect to get to the final.
So do we, though, Faye.
No. He said we believe we will get to the final. We didn't expect to get. There's an arrogance that comes with expecting to get to the final. We believed we could get to the final, but we didn't expect to. And I know it's semantics, but it's important. It's an important differentiation.
I think that's a cop-out, Faye. I think that's a cop-out. I think that's a cop-out from Thomas Tuchel saying that. Because we brought him in. The whole point that we brought Thomas Tuchel in was the expectation was to get us over that line. Because we expected to get to a final and win it. That's why we brought him in. That's why we hired a German manager. Otherwise, we would have just stuck with Gareth Southgate. The expectation was there. That's why we went with Thomas Tuchel.
But was the expectation there? Because I always find it quite funny.
I expected us to beat Argentina.
Especially from 1-0 up.
So did I. I thought we would beat Argentina. And actually, I said right from the beginning we were going to go all the way. But not everybody on our station thought we were going to go all the way. Lots of people were already expecting us to go out against Mexico in the last 16 at the Azteca. So it's always... I find it very interesting always how people change their tack throughout a tournament as they start to get excited. And people had started to get excited because we had found a way throughout the tournament. Again, we hadn't necessarily found the rhythm. We hadn't found the front-footed football that had been talked about all the time. But we still found a way each time to get through. So then by the time we got to play Argentina in the semi-final, everybody was starting to believe that actually, yes, we can do this. And the narrative kind of switched rather than... A few weeks before, everyone's like, oh, well, if we get to the if we go to Mexico, we'll get knocked out by Mexico at the Azteca. Oh, and then if we do get through, and then we have to play Brazil in the quarter-final, which in the end we didn't have to, we'll get knocked out by Brazil. Oh, and if we get to the semi-final, we'll get knocked out by Argentina. Each time we got through, people started going, oh, well, maybe now, actually, and they changed their tune. So, I think all of us, with the benefit of hindsight, can sit there and go, coulda, woulda, shoulda. This would have been a better way to do. We could have done this. He could have changed this. Ultimately, we're not in the final. We're here at the bronze medal or whatever the hell it's called game that no one wants to be at.
Because of Thomas Tuchel, Faye.
Well, not just because of one man. You have to say it's the collective. You have to take collective responsibility for what happened. It is not down to one man.
But it is in this instant, Faye.
Well, that's because you've decided it is.
No, because he decided.
But I'm trying to give you an alternative because I think we need to have some balance here. I really don't like to just throw one person under the bus to be blamed for absolutely everything when there is a collective involved in us going out, and they are all devastated. Thomas Tuchel included.
Yeah, we're all devastated as well, of course, and we understand that, and everyone's devastated, and I'm sure Thomas Tuchel is. But Faye, we brought him in to get that decision right. To make that decision. We all saw the comments that he made about Gareth Southgate, about not being brave and not going to win a game and then when it got to that moment, he made the same decision that Gareth Southgate made that we all didn't want. That's on him.
And then you can go back, and I don't know, I'm sleep deprived. I've been out here nearly 50 days, and I could give you all of the attack-minded substitutions that Gareth Southgate made, actually, rather than defence-minded ones. You know, I think it's a really easy stick to hit Gareth with when actually you look back and he actually made attacking substitutions. It's just that when they didn't pay off, everybody piled on, because that's what we do.
Thomas Tuchel's decision was worse than any decision that Gareth Southgate ever made. The decision he made in that game after the 55th minute, the decisions that he made were worse than any decision Gareth Southgate ever made. That's a fact.
But we can only make we can only look at the decisions. We can only say what we would have done in the moment if we were in that moment right now. We all have the benefit of hindsight right now, and he's still. And actually, I respect him for not going back on what he said.
It was cowardly. It was cowardly at the time. It's not hindsight. It was cowardly at the time.
But I also wouldn't use that word either.
But it was cowardly.
But listen, you know, I'm not going to argue with you because I respect your opinion, and we have differing opinions. That's what football is about.
Do you not agree, Faye, that he got it wrong?
In the moment, I was surprised at the decision that he made. I'm not a football coach. I'm not going to come out and say it was the wrong decision. I mean, you can say it now in hindsight in many ways because we lost the game.
But not being a football coach is irrelevant. It's an opinion.
Well, it is an opinion, and at the time, I questioned it. And I questioned it when I interviewed him post-match. I'm a passionate England fan, you know I am, but I'm also a journalist, and I'm also a reasonable human being, and I can sit there and go, you know, there's context around this. This is why he made the decision. That's why I asked him the question, you know, why have you made it? What was the reasoning behind it? Because I want to go inside his mind. And, you know, ultimately...
I think he's lied to us, though, Faye. I think he's lied.
About what?
About the fact that he's doubled down on the decision that he made and that he backed it. I think he's lied. Because there's no way any elite level manager will sit there after the game and say he thought that he got that decision right. He can't. He can't sit there and think that was the right decision.
He also promised attacking football when he got the job.
And I look, Faye, I get it. You're in a tough spot in a difficult decision, and I respect that the questions you gave to him were spot on. But I feel like Thomas Tuchel has not given us the honest answers that we deserved as a nation. I don't believe he gave it, and I think he's now put himself in a position where he's lost all trust from anyone supporting England. That's it, and he's going to have to do some unbelievable stuff to get that credit back in the bank. Because before this, we're all like, we'll trust Thomas Tuchel. In Tuchel, we trust. Elite level manager. He will get them decisions right. When it comes to the crunch, we will back him. And what happens when he got to that decision? He got it wrong. And that for me is unforgivable. Faye, we'll let you go. You're a star. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
All right, see you later.
Take care, calm down, have a beer.
Faye Carruthers there. It's difficult, right? She's the one talking to Thomas Tuchel, right? But it's always a tough spot when you have to act. And I understand Thomas Tuchel must be in pain, and I get it. But he's paid the big bucks to get that decision right. And I can't sit there and accept that he can come out in his post-match and his press conference and sit there and say that he was
brought in to win that game. He was brought in to do the right thing with 30 minutes left against Argentina. That was the whole point of the appointment. He's been there for over 18 months. He's getting over £5 million a year. The point of the £5 million, the point of the 18-month run-up period to this tournament was for those 30 minutes against Argentina, and he made a complete and utter pig's ear of it. And he says he takes responsibility. What does that mean? What does that look like? If it's genuine, it should look like offering your resignation.
All right, we're going to continue. A few more calls if we can squeeze in. We had a long chat there with Faye. We have got the game coming up very soon. It's the Game Day live on talkSPORT.
wonder whether he went back, muscle memory, whether he's gone back to what happened against Mexico, where we dealt with 5 at the back and they threw things at. But this ain't Mexico.
There's 20 minutes left.
It's
20 minutes of normal time, Jace.
It's more than that.
And we had a man sent off against Mexico. You could almost accept it.
I know.
You're playing against Argentina. You can't sit off for 25 minutes against Argentina. He absolutely bottled it. Thomas Tuchel's cost us the World Cup. He cost us the World Cup. We're 1-0 up. Played well first half. All right, cagey affair. We go 1-0 up. Be brave. Be brave, Thomas. This is what we brought you in for. We brought you in for this moment. We got rid of Southgate because he bottled it, because he weren't brave. We brought you in for now to make that decision. We're 1-0 up in a World Cup semi-final. Bring on Rashford. Bring on Saka. And if they score, they score. But at least we're going to go down fighting. At least we're going to go down with some pride. We fell out of the World Cup in disgrace because of him. Because of him. And we brought him in for this job. This is what we brought him in for, to get us over this line. And it's the same old England, same old crap, same old guff that I have to watch every tournament that we're in. And it's the manager's tucked us up again. Tucked us up. We're dead on our feet. Got Morgan Rogers playing right wing, Jude Bellingham on the left. Brings on Nico O'Reilly. We can't get out. Harry Kane's done nothing. He's dead. Nothing. Got nothing left.
I don't.
I can't believe it, Jace.
Well, no.
Jace, I can't believe it. It's a disgrace. He should be sacked. Get him out. Gone.
I totally agree. I can't believe that we've moved on from Southgate. And it was, if you look back over how we've limped out of World Cup or Euros, whatever, it was literally rinse and repeat. It's the same reasons. It was cowardice.
Yeah, this is World Cup Game Day, live on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Can the England rugby team achieve a bit of success against the Argentinians? Let's find out how they're doing. Alfie Reynolds.
Well, so far, so good. About 5 minutes to go until half-time. It's Argentina 3, England 19. This is the third round of the Nations Championship. And, it's been pretty good for England. 2 more tries scored. Ben Earl crossing twice. One of them a brilliant move after Emmanuel Faye-Reboso had set him up. Faye-Reboso playing outstanding stuff in this first half. And the second of those Ben Earl tries, dabbing down off the back of a scrum. So far, so good for England with 5 to go until half-time. It's Argentina 3, England 19.
OK, thanks, Alfie. There's a brilliant story today from the world of athletics. Great Britain's Josh Kerr smashed the long-standing men's mile world record. He put it up at the London Diamond League, 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Let's hear from Kerr. He spoke to talkSPORT's Michael Weedock.
Josh, congratulations. What does that mean to you? You said you were going to do it. You have done it.
Yeah, it's a big relief and it's awesome. I think it's when the hype is what it is, and that's my fault. I have no one else to blame for that. But I knew I was capable, and just having my mind available for a performance like that was important. And I did my job today.
When did you know it was on?
In the first couple hundred meters, my pacemakers did their job. They set the tone, and I was flowing down the river. The weather was great. The track was electric, and at that point, it was just staying present in every step. And the lactate didn't build too much, and I was able to press and squeeze that last 400.
And can you describe the last 100 metres? What was going through your mind? And then that moment when you crossed the line and you knew you'd done it?
I was super present in it, and I did slow down a little bit, and that was on me, but I got to line as quickly as I could. I thought, my best day I could probably be a couple of seconds under it, and today I was half a second under it, and that was probably me just soaking it in that last 100 or so. But the splits were great early. They flowed through the middle, and I squeezed that last one, and that's what needed to be done. And I was setting PBs all around the place, so we had a good time.
Fair play to him. He's broke the record. Ever run a 4-minute mile?
You're joking, mate. I think I could do one in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, mate, that's some going that, by the way. Some going.
I'd struggle to drive it in 4 minutes.
Look, obviously, the phone lines are going crazy, and I appreciate everyone getting in. We are running out of time because we have got live commentary of the game just finishing up, Rory. Obviously, we spoke to Faye. There was a great chat with Faye, and it's so difficult still to take in the manner that we've gone out and the way that that he's doubled down on his decisions. And
mate, everything about his conduct post. Like, let's momentarily just not talk about the stupid decision making that he put in. Right, that was amateur. Let's momentarily just suspend that for. Look at his conduct since. He said that he's done nothing wrong. Hang on a minute. You clearly have. You are the reason England are out. We should be about to play in New York City, and we're not. We should be gearing up for a World Cup final. Today should be like Christmas Eve for this country. We should be about to have one of the best days of our lives tomorrow, and we're not going to do that because of you. So what he's done is he said that he's done nothing wrong. He doesn't see an issue. Then it's all these platitudes. Do you know what he said? I saw another one. Like, I was thinking about when he said that he doesn't think he got it wrong. But he said that he takes responsibility, which actually means nothing if you don't offer a resignation. But he went, I don't really want to play a blame game. Of course you don't. Of course you don't want to play a blame game because you've done it. Like, generally speaking, the guilty party doesn't want to play a blame game if you've got it wrong. Like, at no point has he ever taken the responsibility on. And I just find the whole conduct, even post, disgusting. And I think that the FA now really need to have a look. They need to have some introspection because everything that they thought he was, he isn't. He's announced to us that he is not the man that we thought he was. We thought that he was capable of managing those 30 minutes. He's now not. So why are we paying him £5 million? Why have we parked our principal? What are we in this for? If he isn't the man that we thought he was, the experiment is over. It was a noble experiment on some level. It was a progressive experiment on some level. It was possibly the correct experiment after Gareth Southgate on some level. And I've got no issue with it happening. But it now has proved to fail. So get it gone and let's start again.
All right, unbelievable 3 hours with Rory. I am back tomorrow alongside Mickey Gray at 3 p.m. We'll be taking the calls that are blowing up on talkSPORT right now. But up next, we do have live commentary of the third place playoff between France and England.